Let's join our CBC sports crew.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Williams. Welcome to the Western semifinal. The Eskimos and Blue Bombers from Winnipeg in a game just over in a driving rainstorm in Hamilton. The Ticats have defeated Montreal, 9 turnovers for the Concords. Hamilton advancing to the Eastern Final. Remember, Hamilton beat Toronto a couple of weeks ago, very nearly won the Eastern Final 1 year ago. It's the Western semifinal. The Eskimos and Blue Bombers are ready to go, and here's Don Whitman.
Although the Winnipeg Blue Bombers won both regular season games, the Edmonton Eskimos are confident as they head into this afternoon's Western semifinal here at Winnipeg Stadium. Leo Cahill, what's the key to the game, offense or defense?
Well, Don, both teams have played extremely well defensively all year, but I think it's going to be offense today. For Winnipeg, 2 key guys, Clements and Reeves. Clements, I don't think he's had 2 bad games all year long in a row, and if he's big today, they're in for trouble. As far as Reeves is concerned, if he gets 100 yards this afternoon, Edmonton's in real trouble. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I'll tell you this much about the Eskimos. Nobody expected them to be here, but they finished in 3rd place, 9 wins, 7 losses. They got to be excited today. They're into a game with no pressure. They have Matt Dunnigan back at quarterback. He's been exciting and outstanding for them the entire season. And in a one-game shot, anything can happen. And, Don, I believe when you don't have pressure on you, it goes your way. I think they got a shot.
Well, weather has definitely been a topic all week, both in Edmonton as the Eskimos prepared for the game, and here in Winnipeg as the Blue Bombers got ready. And joining us down in the sidelines to bring us up to date on weather and field conditions, here's old buddy Ernie Afaganis.
Thank you, Don. This was the scene earlier today at the Winnipeg Stadium. The field covered in plastic and well heated, and actually the field is in good condition. But the temperature is 5 degrees below. The wind is from the northwest at 20. Typical playoff weather in the West, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers preparing to kick off to get this semifinal game underway. John Ireland, the referee this afternoon. Matt Dunnigan back in the Edmonton lineup after missing the final 2 regular season games against Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. There's the kickoff by Kenner. Chris Wood will take it at the 13-yard line. Wood slips and falls at the 25, and that's where the Eskimos will scrimmage, 1st and 10.
Well, we said Dunnigan's back, but also Larry Cowan is back. He's been out with an injury the last few weeks. He's been a second leading rusher out here, so he's ready to go. The receivers, same set as last week. They got Tag Rome again inside in the slot. Not very big, got good hands. And up front, Eric Upton's back at center. He missed a few games because of injury, so that is a veteran offensive line, and they have playoff experience.
1st and 10 from the 25. Dunnigan's pass for Kelly. He steps out of bounds with a gain of 9, maybe even 10 yards. Forced out by Ken Haley.
Well, there's the Bombers. Rassett, they say, is starting, but it isn't Rassett. It's Doug McIver that's in there off of an injury at that middle guard position. Number 64, you'll see. The best linebacking crew, I think, in all of Canada. A lot of speed, can go to the ball, good interceptors. Good secondary, probably as good a cornerbacks as anywhere with Rose and Shaw in the corner. So this is going to be a great football game.
The handoff to Neil Lumsden. Lumsden picked up a couple of yards and then was brought down by Tony Norman. Norman was an all-star in the Western Conference. He wears number 55. Neil Lumsden, during the course of the season, carried the ball 92 times. And Lumsden rushed for 402 yards on those 92 carries. Tony Norman, number 55, one of 12 Bombers named to the Western Conference All-Star team.
Boy, he's been a good one. He's got a lot of range from Iowa State University, where they really play some defense.
On 2nd down, dropping straight back and flipping it out, intended for Lumsden, incomplete. Usually you see Dunnigan in that rollout action. He doesn't drop straight back too often, and one of the things the Bomber coaching staff was concerned about as far as Dunnigan goes is his scrambling ability.
Well, that's for sure. That's what he's done all year, is he likes to get outside and run. And when he does drop straight back, the Bombers will try to contain him, keep him inside, because his running and darting ability to get outside will buy him time. And he wants to stay out of those 2nd and long situations, especially against the Bomber defense.
Well, you saw Neil Lumsden drop that pass. And when you get a pass thrown today, it's like getting hit in the hands with concrete. We're going to see a lot of those drop balls today unless it warms up just a little bit.
The ball is fielded by Kevin Nealon. Penalty flags on the play, and no yards will almost certainly be assessed against the Edmonton Eskimos. Blake Dermott appeared to be in too close, not providing Kevin Nealon with the 5 yards necessary. Many people feel that the Blue Bombers, with Bob Cameron punting against Johnny Evans, have an edge in that department.
I would think so. Cameron's had an excellent year kicking the football, but I've been impressed with his ability to kick against the wind.
Edmonton number 59, first down.
So the Blue Bombers, for their first offensive series, have excellent field position.
Tommy Clements and Reeves, like I said, are going to be big in that thing today, and there's some receivers that they can all catch the football, get in the open, and they can run when they catch the ball.
Hand off to Willard Reeves. Reeves breaks off tackle. He has a gain of 6. Stopped by James Hunter. Reeves put together a string of 8 consecutive 100-plus rushing games. And he credits that offensive line with doing a great job for him. As a matter of fact, he has been named the Carling O'Keefe Offensive Game Star on 5 occasions, and he has given those television sets to the offensive line. Pass almost picked off by Joe Holloman. It was intended for Rick House on 2nd and 4. So the Bombers will send out the field goal unit in all likelihood.
Well, the Eskimos, we use that 3-4 alignment. You see the 3-down lineman turns over the middle. A lot of times, Hill will move up to that defensive end and rush. Kepley's back in after his injuries. He's missed a few games. The other guys have played all season. Hall's been the leading interceptor back there for the Eskimos. Delorier's had a great year as a rookie.
Yes, the rookie Delorier at that safety position, 9 interceptions, and he was named to the All-Star team. Field goal attempt by Trevor Kennard will fall short. It will bounce into the end zone, and Delorier running around back there, going to use up some time before finally giving up the single point. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers draw first blood with 12:04 remaining in the opening quarter. It's Winnipeg 1 and the Edmonton Eskimos nothing.
Working, Davey?
Well, I think the wind more than the cold could be a factor this afternoon. Ernie Afghanis is standing by at the sidelines. Ernie, what about that wind? Is it affecting the throwing of the ball or kicking it?
I'm not sure about the throwing, Don. They haven't tried, well, nothing too long so far, but it definitely did affect the first punt. They punted right into the wind, and right now it's starting to shift to the other side, so it may change all around as we advance in this game.
1st and 10 from the 44. Donegan to the sidelines. Kelly makes the catch, and he goes out of bounds with a first down at the midfield strike.
Well, there wasn't much room for a margin of error right there. Kelly was right on the sidelines, knew where the first down marker was, got there, and Dunnigan put it right exactly where it had to be on the money, and Kelly just stepped down and inside, inbounds, as he's done so often, and got that first down, a big first down.
Boy, he knows where those sidelines are, the way he got those feet down.
He knows where the end zone is as well, as evidenced by his league record, 18 touchdowns this season. Lumsden, trying to break off tackle, is brought down by Frank Robinson after a pickup of just a couple of yards. Winnipeg has played very tough against the run throughout the entire season. Frank Robinson, late in the year, was added to a linebacking position after being picked up via the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They have a lot of speed, and Cal Murphy said they will probably blitz a lot this afternoon as well.
Well, that time they were blitzing, and the Eskimos couldn't handle it. Brought Frank Robinson from one side to the other, and he was right in the hole.
On 2nd down, Donegan is being chased and caught by Tony Norman. But it was Delbert Fowler coming from the other side that made the tackle possible for Tony Norman, because he flushed Donegan out of that pocket and into the arms of Norman.
Well, we said they want to stay out of those 2nd and long situations. That's when the Bombers are at their best, and he had enough time to throw the football. Just a good job, Leo, by that secondary you were talking about.
Well, they've got it closed on those receivers, but they came with about 8 guys that time, closed all the rushing lanes completely. There wasn't any place for him to dart up inside. He just didn't have any place to go.
Third down punt by Johnny Evans. Fielded by Kevin Nealon, and he is downed almost immediately by Leo Blanchard at the 24-yard line. Pat Cantner came very close to blocking that third down kick by John Evans.
Well, the Bombers really came with the rush from that right side of the punter right to his leg. 4 of them coming through there. As you say, Cantner got off the close.
36-yard kick by Johnny Evans, a run back of 2 by Kevin Nealis. It's 1st and 10 Winnipeg. They lead at 1-0. The ball is at the 24 with 10:21 remaining in the opening quarter. Clements drilling it in the hole to Joe Poplawski. He has a gain of 8.
Boy, that's a good play by the Bombers. There's really no problem with this one. Watch what happens. He'll just come down and curl. He'll come out in the flat, and when they run out here to get him, it opens this area up. He's wide open right in the hole. See, the receiver run the hook, the linebacker runs out here, and look at the throwing lane that Clements had right to him.
That linebacker on the inside had a long way to go to try to cover that guy out in the flat. He should have stayed in the curl area.
He's never going to get out there. That's right.
On 2nd down, they give us to Willard Reeves. He won't get the first down, but there's also a penalty flag on the play. James Hunter came up to make the tackle. However, it's offside against Edmonton. That's an automatic Winnipeg first down.
Offside. Edmonton number 36. First down.
The Eskimos' outstanding rookie linebacker, Stuart Hill, was the man who jumped outside. He's a candidate for the Shenley Award as Rookie of the Year at the CFL.
Don field position here is very important. Winnipeg's got the wind advantage right now. They've got to do something with it.
Clements will try, throwing to Rick House. He's got the first down. And he fights his way to the 53 of Edmonton.
It's almost the same pattern that they threw from the other side, only this time they bring him. He comes down and he comes in. Now watch the linebacker have to run out to cover him, and watch how much open area that Clements has to throw at. It's wide open. Look at it. There. Look at the open area. Nothing underneath. No way you're going to stop that pattern. House makes a great run.
The only guy that could have stopped that was the referee. He was in
Willard
perfect
Reeves,
position.
and he is tripped up by Dan Kepley, a pickup of 2 yards. Dan Kepley back in the Edmonton lineup after missing last week's game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, that 52-7 rout at Commonwealth Stadium. As a matter of fact, there are 4 Eskimos back in the lineup who are out of that game: Dunnigan, Cowan, Kepley, and Eric Upton.
As we see Brian Kelly on the sidelines. Now, the thing that Tommy Clements is going to have to do this afternoon is keep sticking that ball at Willard Reeves. Don't get discouraged if he doesn't make a lot of yardage right away. They got to keep sticking the ball at him, because if he gets the yardage, they're going to be tough.
Clements drilling it to Poplawski, first down Winnipeg at the 38-yard line, stopped by Lawrence Delorier. Talking about Shenley nominees, he's a finalist in the Canadian category against Nick Araki.
Clements just dropped straight back. He's got 3 receivers in the area. One hooks it up. There it is. Nothing underneath again. With no one underneath, Clements will have a field day.
And you notice something about Joe Poplawski? No gloves. He's catching that ball with his hands like he should.
Hand off to Willard Reeves. He breaks off tackle. Fumbles the ball. Winnipeg recovers. I think it may have been Rick House who grabbed that loose ball.
You got to have luck early in a ball game, and that's luck at that time. Tommy Clements is going to sprint right or sprint left. Ronnie, take it right there.
The tackle block's down, but watch the block by Nick Vistaya, and watch it open up right in the line, a cross block between the guard and tackle. Bang.
That defensive end has got to be responsible for containing Tommy Clements when he starts on that sprint, and so it's going to open up that draw play on the inside, and that's what happened on that play.
1st and 10 from the 21. Clements having trouble finding a receiver, finally fires to Poplawski. First down at the 10, brought down by Dale Thompson.
If Edmonton is going to do a job this afternoon, they've got to put some pressure on number 2, Mr. Clements. And Clements has got too much time. As you see him take the ball, start back, look downfield, look at the time he has. Nothing there. Runs to the outside. Nothing there. He finally gets a little pressure, sees Poplawski, gets him the ball, and you got a first down. You got to get on him and put some pressure on him if you're going to shut him down this afternoon. You can't give Clements that much time. And with Clements, the more success he has, the more he's going to have. He gets hot.
From just inside the 10, it's 1st and goal Winnipeg. The Blue Bombers lead 1-0. Clements throwing into the end zone. Jeff Boyd touchdown.
Boy, they just make it look so easy here. Boyd goes down, takes a little bend in toward the post, and then turns out to the flag there and just runs a perfect pattern for the touchdown.
So the Blue Bombers move in front by a score of 7-0. The point after by Trevor Kennard. And it's now Winnipeg 8, Edmonton 0, with 6:15 remaining in this opening quarter. And we'll return for the Winnipeg kickoff right after we pause for this message. Don Whitman along with Leo Cahill, Ron Lancaster, and Ernie Afaganis at Winnipeg Stadium. A crowd close to 30,000 taking in the action this afternoon as the Blue Bombers prepare to kick off again. Milton Jones and Chris Woods are back, and Trevor Kennard kicks it off for Winnipeg. Chris Wood will start out from near the 10-yard line. He has great speed if ever he hits that opening, but it doesn't open up. Pat Kapner was the first to make contact with him. Jeff Boyd is the man who scored the touchdown. Let's take another look at the throw from Clements to Boyd.
Just a little play action, not much of a fake. The receivers cross, and when Boyd goes back outside, there's just nobody near him. You see the defender, Tony, finally tried to get there. No chance. Excellent pattern, well thrown. The Bombers are sharp.
And you got to point out one more time, with 6:02 left in this first quarter, Winnipeg's got the wind advantage. They've got to take the ball away from Edmonton again and get some more points on the board, because Edmonton can do something with it when they get that win. This guy's dangerous.
Donegan throwing deep for Woods. He's overthrown him. He was being covered by Donovan Rose. We talked about the speed of Chris Woods. He can burn. And he was trying to get in behind Donovan Rose, and he was overthrown by Matt Donegan.
Donovan Rose stayed with him for about 35 or 40 yards, but the longer they run, the more Woods will run by him. But if that ball's not completed by then, who cares? So Donovan Rose did a good job.
I'm a little bit surprised to hear all the media talking about Donovan Rose coming late. He's been a good cornerback for a long time. He played well in Toronto.
You had an interesting comment from him yesterday. You asked how he liked Winnipeg compared to Toronto. He said, I don't care where I play. I just want that ring. Referring, of course, to the Grey Cup ring. Now this is where Donegan is dangerous. He gets away from the initial pressure, scrambling down the sideline, looking for Tyrone, incomplete.
It looked like he may have had a little room there to run for the first down. And it may be an indication that he has got a little bit of a sore ankle, because normally when he gets that open space there, he'll take it.
Ron, speaking from a quarterback standpoint, how difficult is it coming back after missing a couple of games?
Well, I know they've tried to play it down a lot, saying it's a one-game shot and you don't worry about it, but I really believe a quarterback has to play, and I think when you sit out 2 games, it's awfully tough.
Well, they thought that he might be able to come back for the final game of the season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but the explanation there was that if he did not, if he came back, he may have some problems getting ready for the next game. As Kevin Nealon takes that short kick by Johnny Evans, only 30 yards out of bounds at the 44, and that's where Winnipeg will scrimmage when we return. First and 10, Winnipeg, the ball at the 44, and at halftime we'll have the highlights of that Eastern semifinal involving the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Montreal Concord, won by Hamilton 17-11. And Brian Williams will also be talking with the 2 coaches that led their teams to a first-place finish and have had quite a bit of interest in the outcome of these 2 semifinal games. Don Matthews of the BC Lions and Bob Rabilovich of the Toronto Argonauts. All that coming up at halftime. Clements over the middle, just a little too far in front of Rick House.
You know, Don, you brought up to Ronnie a moment ago, how long does it take a quarterback, in this case Donegan, to come back after an injury? How about Tim Cowan out BC? He's been gone all year. He didn't look like he ever left. He went right back in there and played one good ball game, and then the last game he played was a sensational game with a lot of poise. It looked like he'd been in there all year, so it doesn't necessarily mean because you've been out a couple of games that you can't come back and play as a quarterback.
Second and 10. Swinging it out to Willard Reed. He's got the first down. Willard Reed this year, quite a contribution to the Bomber offense. He ran for 1,733 yards and caught 40 passes for 407 more.
What they try to do is get the backs this side to get the defense to overshift, and then he swings to the wide side. Watch him clear the area out, and there'll be nobody, not one person out there with him. They run out of there. Look how much room he's got when he catches this football. He makes the one move on the linebacker, and he gets that first down. Well, that's a great situation.
Do you think that he was the primary receiver on that?
Not necessarily. Now they got a little screen.
And he was unable to hang on. John Bonk was out in front of him from his center position to throw a block. So it will be 2nd and 10 from the 34. Now let's go to the sidelines and Ernie Appianis.
Don, quite a few of the Bombers have changed from their regular shoe, which is the black bottom shoe with a little bit of a cleat, to this broom ball shoe, which is a coral colored, and underneath it's a concave type of cup. And Bombers have told me that they're getting much better traction with that shoe, and more of them are changing all the time.
Prior to the game, Ernie, we noticed that a lot of them were out in the field testing various types of footwear. Quickly inside, Petrosky, very close to a first down. He'll be about a yard short, hit by Lawrence Delorier, but I think they'll be gambling on 3rd and 1.
Well, that's what quarterbacks do so well. Look at this area right here. There's no one here. All he does is go right into it. No linebacker in the way. Clements, look at that opening. Bang, you've got to cover that receiver. He'll throw it on you all day.
The Bombers send in the short yardage offense. It's 3rd and a little more than 1.
Well, they say we got a guy in here that's made 1,733 yards this year. Let's have him make another yard and a half.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Clemens is going to throw it. He's got James Murphy wide open.
Can we do this?
Just a play action. You see Delorier was up, the safety man, and there's nobody in the middle. You see 15. He's not back deep enough, and when he's not back there, Clements will have a field day throwing that.
And the point after by Trevor Kennard, and with 2:43 remaining in this first quarter, it's 15-0. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in front of the Edmonton Eskimos. The Blue Bombers with 3 possessions in this opening quarter. They've come away with points every time.
Well, this was an easy one. It's a great place to gamble on the football field. When a guy's that wide open with no one in the middle, it's not really a gamble. They can play pitch and catch all day, just like practice.
Tommy's been doing that since he was in college. I can remember against the University of Alabama when he was at Notre Dame. He was in his own end zone, came out of there with a play-action pass to win the ball game in just the final stages of that game, and he's been doing it ever since.
Well, the 2 top receivers as far as touchdowns go during regular season play, Jeff Boyd and James Murphy, with 12 and 11 during the course of the 1984 regular schedule, each with a touchdown in this first quarter this afternoon. Milson Jones 34, Chris Wood 74, back for this Trevor Kennard kickoff. The Blue Bombers rebounding from a 20-3 loss in the final regular season game to determine first place against the BC Lions, looking extremely sharp in the opening quarter this afternoon. Again, they kick it to Chris Woods at his own 8-yard line. And they bring him down at the 25. Richard Nemeth was the first to make contact with him. James Murphy, earlier this week, missed a couple of days of practice, suffering from the flu. The day he did return, he probably wished he was still away. The wind chill was about -35. The temperature was at -14 with the wind blowing out of the northwest at some 30 miles an hour, and Cal Murphy kept them on the field for almost 2 hours.
You got to get used to the element. That's what coaches say.
Flanagan in trouble, brought down for a loss by Tony Norman.
You know, Don, they always talk about Dunnigan's scrambling ability and how he makes things happen. But when you play this style of game that Dunnigan does play, you can lose as many yards as you gain. And in this case, he might have been better off just to fall down right there. Watch him try to run away from it. They got too much speed for him to run away from.
One of the reasons Tony Norman was chosen an all-star in the Western Conference. That's his second quarterback sack of the afternoon. 1:41 is the time remaining in this opening quarter. 2nd and 20. Edmonton back at the 15. Draw play with Larry Cowan, and Cowan is stopped after a pickup of just 2. Scott Flagel came up from the safety spot to make the tackle. Flagel, really a rookie as far as regular position with the Blue Bombers is concerned, moving into that safety spot this year. As a result, Paul Bennett became expendable, and Bennett went on to the Toronto Argonauts, briefly to the Edmonton Eskimos, although he never wore a uniform, and wound up with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and played a key role this afternoon in helping the Ticats gain a spot in the Eastern Final in their 17-11 win over Montreal.
Johnny Evans kicks against the wind one more time. Winnipeg has the advantage of the wind still for another minute and 7 seconds. They're at midfield right now, and they've still got another chance to get on there and put more points on the board. They've certainly taken advantage of the wind situation in this first quarter.
Kevin Nealis returning that punt, brought down by Leo Blanchard. Cal Murphy, the Bomber head man, a little more uptight prior to today's game than we've seen him at most times this year.
Well, there's no doubt about it. All the pressure is on Cal Murphy and this Winnipeg club. Edmonton's got no pressure at all, and, you know, whenever you're going in as a favorite, it's tough.
And when you play so well, so long, all year long, if you should get beat, the pressure really is on you, and he knows that.
But Lofty again, he's been a favorite target all afternoon for Tom Clements, and that will be a gain of 9, stopped by Dale Thompson. Clements has held a hot hand.
And I got to point out one more time that Poplawski is catching everything that's thrown near him, and he doesn't have any gloves on. He's got a little bit of pocket in front of his sweater there to keep his hands warm.
Willard Reed gets the first down. He just put his head down and pushed people back, knocking down Danny Bass, but Bass was able to hang on for the tackle.
You think Clements doesn't realize that they're going to lose the win shortly? He's going to that hurry-up offense. He's trying to get into that end zone before this quarter ends.
Willard Reed's a little slow in getting up, limping back to the huddle. Underthrown on the sideline was Sean Kehoe with 8 seconds remaining in the quarter. It will be 2nd and 10. Winnipeg, the ball is at the Edmonton 41.
Jackie Parker is getting his initiation into a playoff situation. He was in a lot of them as a player. Now as a coach, he's getting his first crack in there.
Second, Leo, he had the semifinal game last year right here at Winnipeg Stadium as well.
They're trying to make me look bad now.
Down the sidelines for Boyd. Incomplete. Good defensive work by Joe Holloman to knock it down. And that should also be the final play of the first quarter. There's the gun with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading by a score of 15-0. It will be Winnipeg 3rd and 10 when we return. The first play of the second quarter, a 3rd and 10 situation confronting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Bob Cameron will kick it away. Good kick into the wind. Goes into the end zone, and Holloman concedes a single point. A 44-yard single by Bob Cameron, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are now in front 16-0.
I'm not too sure of the advisability of Cal Murphy with 2nd down and 8 seconds to go that he didn't put his field goal unit in there and kick with the wind and get the 3 points.
Well, I figure he got the lead. Why worry about it? Give Clements one more shot at throwing that football.
They're ahead 15-0, though. 3 more points would have been an awful lot at that time, and there's no question that Kennard could have put it through from there with the wind.
Donegan to Kelly, and he will be very close to the first down. He was driven back by Donovan Rose. That's the 3rd reception of the afternoon for Brian Kelly. And they ruled that he was out across the 45, so it will be 1st and 10.
Well, the Bombers are in a man-to-man defense. That means he's not going to get any help. It's just Rose and Kelly, and Kelly's tough one-on-one with any defensive back.
First and 10 from the 45.5 for Chris Woods, and Chris Woods is still on his feet. He slipped as he tried to cut inside the 45.
Boy, he's dangerous. All he did was just step right up there and hit him on the outside, and he split that secondary. And when this guy splits the secondary, he's in danger of going the distance.
Well, that's for sure. That's just get the ball to him in a hurry, and on this kind of a football field when it is slippery with his speed, boy, one move and you're down and he's gone.
A gain of 21. It will be 1st and 10 from the 43. First time this afternoon that the Eskimos have moved into Winnipeg territory. Dunnigan throwing deep, and it's incomplete. Knocked away by Wiley Turner, but there's a penalty flag.
Boy, I want to see how they call this one.
They got to call defense. He hit him. He hit Chris Woods.
Chris Woods was in a perfect interception position there himself, and they just collided. Let's take a look at it again. One thing is for sure, though, that Dunnigan really has more confidence with that wind. We're going to watch it.
He made his break to the inside. He was hit. That's what they're going to call.
Isn't there some rule that you can protect the ground you
Forward
stand
pass
on?
interference. Winnipeg number 28. First down.
There it is, right there. Now you tell me that's interference.
Yep. He can go get that football. He's still eligible to catch it. You can't hit him and knock him off stride.
What if he knocks you off stride?
That's life.
Yeah, you can be, as long as you're on your territory right there, he can't run through you.
Touchdown for Matt Dunnigan as he kept the ball himself. And the Edmonton Eskimos are on the board with 13 minutes remaining in this first half.
Don't waste any time. Dunnigan just takes it on first down and puts it in the end zone. And at this time of the game and stage of the game, they needed to get it in the end zone.
And this will do a lot for Dunnigan, too. Just a young rookie quarterback, but he's got the wind advantage now. And getting that score right now means an awful lot to him. And he's got a lot of time in this quarter now to do something else with it.
Dave Cutler getting set for the point after. He puts it through, and with 13 minutes remaining in this second quarter, it's Winnipeg 16, Edmonton 7, and we'll return to Winnipeg Stadium and the Edmonton Eskimo kickoff right after this. Matt Dunnigan scoring the touchdown that broke the ice for the Edmonton Eskimos here in the second quarter as the Edmonton Eskimos prepare to kick off. Reeves and Kehoe are standing back at their own 2-yard line. Ball bounces to Willard Reeves at the 10. And he is tripped up at the 27. Frank Valkovec was the first man in there to make contact as Tom Clements leads the Winnipeg offense back onto the field. They've had 4 possessions, scored 2 touchdowns and 2 single points.
You know, the big thing, Clements has to be pleased with their first quarter performance. But now he's going into the wind in the second quarter, and he wants to get that offense going again.
No question about that. This is a whole different ball game. He's not going to be able to throw it as loose as he did that first quarter.
Rick House makes the catch in the vicinity of the 35.
Clements tried to throw that screen pass out to Reeves at first. You saw him pump out there, but Jenkins, the linebacker, had it covered. So now he's looking for help, and he finally found Rick House.
Clements has been good on 9 of 14 for 103 yards. 2nd and 2, Winnipeg. Ball is at the 35. The pitch to Willard Reeves, trying to cut back inside. He'll be close to the first down. It may require a measurement as he was tracked down by Dan Kepling. Wherever you're looking in this afternoon, we hope you're enjoying this semifinal action from Winnipeg Stadium. And we extend special greetings to those who are viewing the game on ESPN in the United States.
Boy, this is going to be close.
They don't have it.
Football length.
All right, coaches, what do you do?
Got to get it. Go get it. Clements will get it.
There's only one play to run here, Ron.
That's right. Clements has got to take it himself.
Quarterback sneak, and if he runs a play pass right here, he's got more nerve than Dick Tracy.
Well, you got 3rd down, less than a yard, your own territory. They have to give you a yard off the ball. He has to carry it. Delorier will be back. He got fooled 1. He's not going to come up there again. He's going to make Clements run it.
So it's a big 3rd down gamble for Winnipeg. The ball is at the 36 and a half. The Bombers lead 16-7 with 11:48 remaining in the first half. Clements keeps. Had a little trouble getting some traction as he tried to drive off behind center John Bond, but he should have the first down.
There's a guy right there that was a little nervous about that traction, too, as you see Coach Cal Murphy walk away, saying, thank God for small favors.
Well, as we pointed out at the start of our telecast, there was a tarpaulin covering the field all week with propane heat underneath the tarpaulin, but prior to it turning so cold here in Winnipeg, we had a lot of rain. And as a result, with that extra heat, the field became very moist. When they took the tarp off, with the temperature at -5 degrees today, the field froze. And Reeves is frozen at the 40-yard line by a swarming Edmonton defensive unit. You see the propane heaters that they're using on the bench. Both teams trying to take advantage of it. And as the afternoon progresses, I'm sure it will get even colder down there, particularly for the team on the short end of the scoreboard.
Boy, it always does. You know, it's cold enough, but boy, when you're losing late in the game, it does get cold. But it's Western playoffs, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Second and 8. Pass is complete to Sean Kehoe, and he'll get the first down.
Boy, Sean stuttered there for a couple moments. Got some foothold, and he finally got that first down, but I don't know that he knew where those yard markers were.
Kehoe and Willard Reeves came to the Blue Bombers as a package on July 2nd, 1983 from the Edmonton Eskimos. What a contribution they have made to the success the Blue Bombers have enjoyed since then. Clemens for Sean Kehoe again. There's also a penalty flag in the play as Joe Holloman takes Kehoe out of bounds. But there was a penalty flag down at the 47.
I think maybe they're going to call number 70, Boyd, for the pick on that, Ron. What do you think?
It's going to be, I think so.
Penalty call does go against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
What happened is number 70, Boyd, went down and tried to come to the inside. He ran right over Holloman, and it is a man-to-man defense, and he hit the defender before the ball was ever thrown.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 70. First down repeated.
Very perceptive, Mr. Cahill.
See what happens, that's going to try to cover a back out of the backfield. They can't do it, and when he went down to block, he hit the defensive back, and that's what they call. So you can't run that linebacker all the way out in the flat with a fast receiver. You're going to get beat every time.
Penalty flag on the play as Willard Reeves takes the handoff for a gain of 8. He was written down by Joe Jenkins. Offside against Edmonton is the call. Well, the fans this afternoon bundled up against the inclement weather. All types of protective gear being worn by, as we said, close to 30,000 spectators here at Winnipeg Stadium.
Offside. Edmonton number 36. First down repeated.
Stuart Hill was the man who jumped, so it will be first and 15 now, Winnipeg.
It was the second time this afternoon that Stewart's been a little bit over-anxious. The second offside.
9:20 the time remaining in the second quarter. 16-7, Winnipeg leading Edmonton in this Western semifinal. Quickly inside for Bosky, and he is out to the midfield stride.
That's that same play around where he was uncovered and went down there, but Danny Bass, sensing that they may hit the uncovered man from his linebacker spot on the inside, just went out there and almost picked it off.
Boy, he sure did. He got out there in a hurry, but they threw that earlier, and if you know darn well, Tom Clements is going to come back to it, but Bass just was about a half a step away from having an interception.
Well, those are the kind of Bass would have picked that off. It could have gone all the way the other way.
Bosky has had a busy game so far. He's been the favorite target for quarterback Tom Clements. Second and 5, Winnipeg. Jeff Boyd gets the first down at the 42. There's also a penalty flag holding against Winnipeg.
Boy, that's the thing that could make an old man out of you on the sidelines if you're coaching a football team. Jeff Boyd went down that time, was perfectly covered, but as a good receiver will do, came back toward the line of scrimmage and gave his body to Tommy Clements, and Tommy gave him the ball. It would have been a great play. Holding.
Holding. Winnipeg number 65. Second down repeated.
The veteran Nick Vastaya, in his 10th year in the Canadian Football League, a Simon Fraser product, guilty of the holding call. So now it's second and 15, Winnipeg. Little safety valve to Willard Reeves. close to the first down. He initially got away from Danny Bass. When the foot was over, he stopped after a gain of about 4.
If you watch the Edmonton Eskimo defense, they're just going to drop it into a zone, 4 men short, 4 men deep, and they run the wide swing, and then Danny Bass misses the tackle. This is a zone defense. They force Clemens to lay it off. Now, you're supposed to make the tackle. Make him throw the short, then make the tackle. He didn't, but watch Willard Reeves go after this first down.
That's the old story again of getting a good fast back in an open field situation and trying to create a one-on-one situation with a back like Willard Reeves and a linebacker.
And Willard Reeves is the injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber with 7:41 remaining in this second quarter. Yes, that will be an exciting week. Grey Cup week in Edmonton. It all begins on Tuesday with the Canadian Amateur Football Association roast of Norm Kimball. Then on Thursday, the Shenley Awards. Ernie Afghaniz will be co-hosting that one. On Saturday, on CBC television, it's the Grey Cup Parade, and Ernie's going to have a busy week working on the Grey Cup Parade on CBC television. Then on Sunday, of course, the thrill of it all, followed by the Grey Cup game itself.
Cal Murphy called his quarterback, Tommy Clements, over the sideline, and I saw him instruct him, be sure and tell the officials that the defense stay 1 yard off of the football. So Tommy went out and told him that. You'll see they're 1 yard off the ball now. He'll sneak it for that 1 yard.
Tommy Clements gets the first down. That has been a complaint registered by several coaches in the league this year, that they do not always provide that 1 yard no man's land at the line of scrimmage. Standing by at the sidelines, Ernie Afghaniz.
Don, this is a beautiful warmer. It's called a thermal pad, and all you have to do is rub it along your face and you feel that beautiful warmth. Now look at this. If you hold this up here, you'll see this coin type device right here. All you have to do is break that seal, and it activates a saline solution and makes it extremely warm. You can keep it in your pocket, rub your face, rub your hands. It's actually very comfortable down here.
Well, Ernie, we're not having any problems up here at all.
Oh, sure.
Tom Clements running the ball for a pickup of about 6 or 7. I understand, Ernie, that a number of the Edmonton Eskimos are using that particular product. The ball is at the 43. 2nd and 5, Winnipeg. The give to Willard Reeves. Reeves trying to get outside. He's got the first down. Finally, Stuart Hill brings him down, but not before Reeves had penetrated to the 32.
Boy, he's playing havoc with Danny Bass this afternoon. That's the second time he's broken away from a tackle by Danny Bass and made a substantial gain.
Well, Leo, you said at the start of our telecast that Winnipeg needed a 100-yard game from Willard Reeves. He already has carried 7 times for 41 yards.
That could be the big difference.
Winnipeg 1st and 10. The Blue Bombers are at the 33, but more importantly, they are using up lots of time on that scoreboard clock going against the wind. Now 5:52 the time remaining in this second quarter. Willard Reeves, the ball carrier, with a pickup of about 2 yards.
I think you're going to see Ron Willard Reeves swinging out of the backfield a lot this afternoon, too. Tommy's going to get him that swing pass and hope that he can, especially against this wind, hope that he can get it to him short and let him run with the football. Better than a toss play.
Yeah, get the ball in his hands in a hurry. That way the wind doesn't have a chance to affect it.
2nd and 8, Winnipeg. The Blue Bombers in front by a score of 16-7.
They tried to hit him right there with the swing. It wasn't open, and Tommy's rolling out. Look at all, Popowski's wide open.
Popowski gets the ball, gets away from Topwood, and he's bounced out of bounds by Clint Coney at the 5. 26 yards the gain to Popowski.
What they want to do is they want to run a curl route right here, run him in the flat, swing the back. But watch Dan Kepley. He gets back underneath it, and then as Clements reverses his field. But you see number 42 drop back right underneath it. He has nowhere to throw it. Now as he goes the other way, Dale Thompson slipped and fell, and Popowski's wide open. And you know what? Clements will find him.
7 times Joe Pop, as he is affectionately referred to, has caught a pass. And Willard Reeves carries to the 2.
Boy, he is having himself a day, and he is hard to bring down. There was a whole horde of white shirts right there at the line of scrimmage, and he just burst right into them for about a 2 or 3 yard gain there.
Well, there's one group of fans here at Winnipeg Stadium in the wheelchair section hoping that Willard Reed scores a touchdown, because one of them will be the lucky recipient of the football if he does. That's what he does each time he scores. He heads over to the wheelchair section and gives them the ball.
Watch Tommy here. The Edmonton team's probably saying, watch him on that naked bootleg, because he'll do this.
Gives to Willard Reed. He does not
make it.
Boy, that's a great defensive play by the Eskimos. Watch this man right here. Watch Dan Kepley come right through here, and he really puts a hit on him.
Well, that looks like the Dan Kepley of a couple of years ago. That is meeting you at the crossroads and having something happen. Now it's 3rd down and 1. It'll either be Reeves again or Clements is going to try it himself.
Take it himself.
Clements from the option, touchdown.
Well, we'll see at the backside. Leo, go ahead.
No, just a simple option play. Tommy may have ran this a little bit in the college, but he had Willard Reeves to toss to on the outside, and the threat of Willard Reeves opened up that defense on the outside. He stepped inside himself and got the score.
Trevor Kenner getting set for the point after. He puts it through, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers move in front by a score of 23-7 with 3:38 remaining in the half. We'll be back with the Winnipeg kickoff after this. Tom Clements running into the end zone on that option play, the 3rd Winnipeg touchdown of the afternoon. 3:38 the time remaining as Kenner kicks off short for Tony, and he is down at the 43-yard line. Jeff Boyd, coming down on the outside, came very close to picking that one off in the air.
Well, I thought that's what was going to happen. That ball took forever to come down, and you got to realize that ball's free. I thought that Winnipeg guy was going to catch it on a dead run.
Well, the most substantial thing about that drive of Winnipeg's was that it was against this wind. And you look up at those flags, that wind is blowing pretty tough. Dunnigan now has his team with the wind at his back, and if they're going to do something, they've got to do it now.
And in that Winnipeg drive, they used up about 6 minutes on the clock.
That was the most important thing. Don't give them the football. And they got points after all. That's great offensive performance.
The Blue Bombers have had 5 possessions this afternoon. They've scored points 5 times. The screen to Neil Lumsden, and he is stopped at the 50-yard line by Tony Norman after a pickup of 8.
I always get a kick out of looking at those defensive ends like Tony Norman did there. He took off in there, and all of a sudden, he reads that screen pass, and then he just turns around and runs it down from behind because he has the speed to do it. But he knew he made a mistake when he went in there. They didn't block him like they normally do, so he stopped, and he read it, and then he came back.
2nd down for the Eskimos. The ball is at the 50. Kelly is wide to the right. Dunnigan keeps. Will he have enough? I think he's going to be just a little shy of a 1st down. Well, they'll be measuring it, and we'll have it all for you right after we pause for this message.
Are you both okay?
It's a sea monster. Or is it? Danger Bay, Monday.
At halftime, Brian Williams will have highlights of Hamilton's 17-11 Eastern semifinal win over the Montreal Concorde. He'll also be talking live with Bob Wabilovich and Don Matthews. On 3rd and 1, Neil Lumsden gets the 1st down, hitting midfield. 2:37 the time remaining. See that all the Edmonton players have those protective pouches sewn onto the front of their uniforms to keep their hands warm. Coaches would prefer that players don't wear gloves. They get a better feel of that football without them.
The only thing I say, if you wear them in the summer, you should wear them in the winter. But if you don't use them all the time, they're a problem.
Dunnigan! Is it complete? No. They rule no catch. Tag Rome, the intended receiver. Tyrone Jones deflected the ball.
Well, they were lucky there that it wasn't an interception. Donnie Matthews just stopped in here a short time ago just to say hello and pointed out something that was very significant. Go ahead, Ron.
Watch Aaron Brown get all the way back in here. When that Edmonton defender, he steps in front, he almost picks that thing off.
Back to the live action. The pass is complete for a first down to Marco Sincar.
I was going to say that Donnie Matthews pointed out something quite significant, and that is that on that frozen field out there this afternoon, we saw Tommy Clements on a quarterback sneak kind of stutter and skid a little bit. Well, those defensive linemen aren't getting a real good rush. And that's why Clements and even Dunnigan is getting more time out there to throw the football because the defensive linemen can't get their traction and rush that passer.
2:08 in the half, down 23-7. They've got to put it in the end zone this drive.
First pass this afternoon that has been thrown to Marco Sincar. And it's 1st and 10. The Eskimos at the 45 and a half of Winnipeg. They trail 23-7. 1:52 with the clock remaining here in the half. Dunnigan is down by Delbert Fowler. Kind of an unusual situation. Fowler waiting for Dunnigan to make a move. When he finally did, Fowler pounced on him.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked about what Delbert Fowler did. He knew with them backs coming his way that they're going to try to roll outside. Watch him right here. All he does is step out here and wait on him. He holds him inside, and then he jumps over and makes the play. But watch him step outside. He said, you're not going to get around me. I got you contained. Now I'll come and get you.
Tag Rome going down there in that slot, right down there in that seam pattern, opened up for about 10 yards, but Dunnigan could have got him the ball.
2nd and 14. Dunnigan back in the pocket, throwing deep for Chris Woods. He got it. Taken out of bounds by David Shaw down at the 17.
You know, when you have that speed that Woods had, he started down the field to go to the inside. David Shaw has to go with him because he'll outrun him. And then he went back outside, and Shaw never had a chance. Dunnigan sprints to his right, looks down the middle. But look at the separation, David Shaw and Chris Woods.
You get a guy with all that speed, Ron, one-on-one on a situation like that. As you say, as good a defender as David Shaw is, he's got to give him a little bit of leverage over there. And he just turned to the outside, and Dunnigan got him the ball.
1:23 is the time left in the half. 1st and 10. The fake inside. Dunnigan looking to the sidelines. It's incomplete. Intended for Larry Cowan.
Wiley Turner went in there and put a real hit on him. Just about the time that the ball hit him, Wiley Turner hit the receiver.
You're going to throw that ball out there, you better get it there faster than that. He was open quick, but number 28, Wiley Turner, see, he's there, but by the time the ball gets there, look at the hit. Ooh. Comes a play in from the bench. We'll see what they're going to do. Who are they going to go to, Leo?
And just in case, David Cutler is getting ready on the sidelines. It's 2nd and 10.
They're going to try to create a one-on-one with Kelly out here, I think.
Dunnigan with time. It's picked off. Intercepted by Ken Haley. That could be a big play in this ball game.
I think Ken Haley caught that in self-defense. I think that
sure
ball
did.
was barreled in there so hard. It was going right into his stomach, and he just grabbed on to keep it from hitting him that hard.
Watch, right through the receiver's hands, and it hits him, as you say, right in the stomach. He never even saw it.
Boom, right in the stomach. But I got it.
One thing that the Eskimos didn't want to happen happened. They wanted to get points on that drive. Haley took care of that.
Ken Haley this year led the Blue Bombers in interceptions. He had 9 of them.
I think you see Tommy Clements working short down here now. He'll keep with his running game and his short passing game and hope that he could use up this 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Hand off to Willard Reeves, and Willard Reeves has a gain of 8 yards. Ken Haley, another of the 12 Winnipeg Blue Bombers named to the Western Conference All-Star team.
Willard Reeves starts to his right, and when he gets the football, watch Chris Walby and Moores will come across, and the hole will open right inside. But Chris Walby, that big offensive tackle, he's pulling. Now he's going to turn out and block the first thing that shows. In this case, is Dan Kepley. He knocks him down. Reeves picks up 8 yards.
And you can see why Chris Walby was an all-league guy this year. He's come a long way since he left Montreal a couple years ago, and what a prize that was when Winnipeg got him from Montreal. I don't know how they ever got away from that. Got away with that, I should say.
Boy, when he walked into that press conference yesterday, he looked like a tree come in there. Those arms are huge.
What is it you say, Leo? Big enough to go bear hunting with a stick.
He walked in that press conference, and there was a policeman on the door and said, break it up.
The injured Edmonton Eskimo, Tom Tuine. The University of Hawaii product will be replaced in that defensive set by John Mandarich. .6'4", 265-pound Tom Tuine. This is how he got hurt. He's number 90. It's those legs bent, and several players roll over him, but it appears as though he will be okay, but must go out for at least one play. We're into the final minute of this first half. Winnipeg 2nd and 2. The pitch to Willard Reeves, trying to get that first down. He's across the 20. He'll be very close to the first down, stopped by Dan Kepley.
Well, they put Dan Kearns into for Tuine's spot, and they run right at him first play. Run the toss at him. He did a good job on it. Didn't give him anything. We'll see what they do here. 3rd and short again.
Well, they've got less than a yard, and I think Cal Murphy's taking an awful risk if he goes for it down here.
Listen, you're exactly right. He's going to punt it, I hope. He should. Nope, he's not going to.
Well, this is a risk because we've seen already Tommy Clements slip trying on a quarterback sneak, and if he should take the ball right here and slip and don't make it, that's just like putting points on the board with only 45 seconds left. Get that ball out of there.
Timeout has been called by the Edmonton Eskimos at the 20-yard line on 3rd and 1. So now Tom Clements moves over to the bench to confer with Coach Cal Murphy before running this 3rd down play. Well, Winnipeg had lined up preparing to gamble on 3rd and less than a yard. Edmonton called timeout, and now Bob Cameron is being sent in. Winnipeg will punt.
Don't you think Tommy Clements came over to the sidelines and said to Cal Murphy, Coach, are you sure you want to go for this one? I think he did. Cal says, maybe you're right, Tom.
I'll tell you what he said. You want me to tell you what I think he said? Come on, Coach, we can make a yard. Quarterbacks don't ever want to give that football up. And Cal said, I'll call him. I'll make the decision.
Oh,
we'll
Cal
kick it.
had already called it. Time to go over the sideline. Tommy's a lawyer, you know. He was pleading the case right there. He's going to be a lawyer. He's on his last year.
3rd down kick by Cameron. Taken on the run, and Holloman is forced out of bounds at the 45. But now the Eskimos are within field goal range of Dave Cutler with 31 seconds remaining. Had the Winnipeg Blue Bombers gambled on that 3rd down and made the yardage, they could have run the clock out. But now the Eskimos have that chance to perhaps get the points back that they missed on the drive that was snuffed out by a Ken Haley interception.
Well, they've got a great defense all year. They've got to depend on their defense to shut down Edmonton right here.
Pass is complete. The ball fumbled, but they ruled no pass. No completion. Scott Flagel had the ball and was home free as far as the end zone was concerned. But Frank Robinson put quite a hit on.
What they do is they bring Cowan out of the backfield. He's going to come out and block. He's going to block, and then that's that little hitch screen to Woods. But watch, as soon as he catches the football, they arrive. They didn't get the block. Larry Cowan just couldn't get to him. They was hoping to get Chris Woods again with a full head of speed up that seam. This time, no chance.
Let's hope that they didn't catch that football, because if they did, Cal Murphy is really going to be upset.
2nd and 10. The ball was at the 44. 27 seconds remaining. Dunnigan going to the backside for Brian Kelly. He'll be stopped short of the 1st down at the 37.
Well, they got to go for the field goal now.
Make that tag wrong, the receiver.
Cal was really upset. He thought he was out of bounds when he got that ball. He's jumping up and down.
Pollard.
Well, they got a 3rd and 2. They're not going to go for the field goal. They're going to try for it with 19 seconds left.
Both at the line of scrimmage, and there aren't any flags.
Oh, boy, it was movement.
Now there are flags.
Oh, take it easy, fellas. Don't anybody get thrown out of the game. That is stupid. Well, you just can't allow yourself to get in a fight at this stage of a playoff game. I think Neil Lumpkin's involved in that.
Neil Lumpkin and Ken Haley were in there.
I think the original call is going to be roughing on the Blue Bombers on the quarterback when he was going down, but there should have been some flags thrown because everybody was moving.
John Ireland, the referee, in charge of this afternoon's game. And Aaron Brown of the Blue Bombers is still incensed. Teammates trying to control him.
Well, they're going to walk it off against Edmonton. Well, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, it looked as though there was movement at the line of scrimmage. Watch this.
Oh, the right guard just absolutely steps back before the ball is snapped.
You can follow this through.
Well, they're going to measure to see if there was a first down. It is not a first down. Well, that's a break for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They were deprived of a penalty flag on the play when there really should have been one, but there will be a rough play infraction, I believe, tacked on. But the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will get the football. The rough play taking place after the play was dead.
Well, you can bet right now with 13 seconds left that Tommy Clements is going to go in there and get down there and genuflect.
I'll tell you.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Winnipeg number 55. First down.
But what precipitated that rough play call was that there were no flags on the procedure.
They blew a procedure call number 1, and then the roughing took place on the tackle. I don't know why they didn't get the yardage and the ball. But they'll kill this clock now for sure.
All the backs bunched in around Tom Clements. He drops to a knee, taking the clock to 11 seconds. And now he'll be able to run it out.
Boy, look at Jackie Parker on the sideline. He looks like he's really upset about something.
Tom Clements glancing back at the scoreboard clock. Time has expired, and he simply drops to a knee to end the first half of this afternoon's Western semifinal. Winnipeg leading Edmonton by a score of 23-7. Now, stay tuned for our halftime show.
Well, it is halftime. Winnipeg leading Edmonton 23-7. We'll talk live with Don Matthews in Winnipeg, Bob Obilovich here in Toronto in just a minute. First of all, let's bring you up to date on Montreal and Hamilton. The Concorde with a total of 9 turnovers. This one costly in the first quarter. Paul Bennett, the former Blue Bomber and Toronto Argonaut, number 24, lugs it in for the only touchdown of the first half. Late in the first half, Turner Gill out of Nebraska started for Montreal, goes to the left side. Watch the late hit from John Priestner. He falls, Gill does, injures his left arm, was gone for the game. Bernie Ruoff, the offensive star for Hamilton, mishandles it here, though, and Pete Laverato comes up with a football, number 7, carries it on down near the goal line. Jerry DiTilio in place of Turner Gill will go in for the touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion, and the Hamilton Ticats are looking for Bob Obilovich and the Argonauts as they win today by 6 and will play in the Eastern Final 1 week from today at Exhibition Stadium. Coming up, we will talk live with BC Lions head coach Don Matthews and the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, Bob Obilovich, as CFL 84 continues. Back to CFL Control. As promised, we are going to talk live with BC head coach Don Matthews, who is standing by in Winnipeg. and Toronto head coach Bob Obilovich, who is in Toronto. Don Matthews, Obilovich tells me your hair's a little longer and you've lost some weight. What's going on here?
Well, I guess if winning the Grey Cup makes you go bald like Obi does, maybe I'll never win the Grey Cup.
Hey, you just have to little more face to wash, that's all.
Well, you've got an awful lot of face. Hey, Obi, congratulations on a great year. Snuck by again, I see.
Well, we've had our problems, Don, but as you know, and I know you're watching your game, and I just finished watching ours out here, when it gets down to this point in the season, you know, if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the next game we play, we're playing against the best teams that are left at that time. So hopefully we'll see each other again.
All right, you guys, enough talk about hair. Don Matthews, let's start with you. Your impressions of the first half. Winnipeg with a big lead. The score is a bit deceiving as Edmonton got the touchdown after the penalty.
Yeah, but the thing is, Edmonton had some ball control worked on them in that second quarter when they had the win. I think that was the deciding factor. Tommy Clements did a super job of marching the length of the field when the wind was in their face. Edmonton couldn't get on the field to get the ball, so it really negated their wind advantage in that second quarter. When Edmonton did get a chance to try to put some points on the board, Winnipeg's defense came up real big.
Bob Obilovich, you have watched the game today. You've just returned from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. Your impressions of that Ticat victory?
Well, it was one of those days where with the weather, it was just going to be the team that, you know, got the most breaks. And I felt that going into the game, if it was a bad day, that Hamilton would have an advantage in the kicking game. And I think Bernie certainly came through in that respect for the Ticats. But, you know, you take away the touchdown on the fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the game was pretty even because neither team could do much offensively. But Hamilton's defense has been playing well in recent weeks, and, you know, we're going to have to play a good, solid game against them to win again.
Don Matthews in Winnipeg, I'm wondering, can the Ticats beat Hamilton?
Gee, I really don't know. That in the playoffs, anything can happen. You know, sometimes the team that has the bye starts a little slow in that final. I know that in Edmonton we always started slow when we had the bye, but later on we came on top. So it's really tough to predict anything right now in the playoffs.
Bob, do you agree with that? It's a little slow starting when you've had the bye?
Well, in BC, I don't think that's a problem. There's no weather problem there. They have a little different situation. But I think that the key thing is, as we all know, getting the bye, the important thing is getting your team healthy, and it gives you the extra week to prepare. And it's just a matter of having your players ready to go.
Bob, is your team healthy right now?
We'll be as healthy as we've been in recent weeks, and you know, right now there won't be any excuses. We just have to go out and play football the way we know how we have to play to win games.
Don, what is the injury situation right now with the Lions?
Boy, we're really in good shape. Everybody's 100%. We had light workouts. It was raining quite hard in Vancouver this week, so we were forced to go into the dome, and it was pretty nice in there. There was no crowd noise, but we survived even in spite of that. And we had a real good, relaxing week, and we're looking forward to the final.
Listen, it's pouring rain here in Toronto. Obilovich is laughing as you rub it in about a dome. He'd love to have a dome. Don, I'm wondering, you prefer Edmonton in as much as you would have to play Winnipeg twice in 2 weeks. And let's face it, it is awfully tough to beat a team as good as Winnipeg twice in 2 weeks.
Well, it's really tough anytime you play in the playoffs, and I really can't say that I prefer one over the other. I think Winnipeg is a super football team. Edmonton's young and got a lot of emotion going for him, so, you know, it's a toss-up, but I think right now the advantage has to be with Winnipeg. Well, they got this crowd right behind them. They're really rooting for him, and they'll help them in the second half.
Bob Obilovich, you keep hearing your players are psyched out. Hamilton very nearly won that Eastern final last year. They beat you a couple of weeks ago. Is that a problem?
No, I don't think so. I have all the confidence in the world in our football team, our coaching staff and players, and we're coming down now to the end of the season when, you know, you have to win to keep playing, and I think that our players will be ready, and I know that our coaches are ready to go in there, and all that other stuff doesn't mean anything right now.
Don Matthews, you're looking for some revenge. Would you like to play Toronto again in the Grey Cup?
I really don't think revenge has any part in football or in life, but I would really like to play in the Grey Cup. If Toronto gets there, then we'll play them, but if not, my main purpose is just to try to get there with my team.
Well, you're right, Donnie, and I hope I'm going to have the same situation. We both want to be there with our teams rather than as spectators, and whoever it is, best of luck to either team.
All right, our thanks, Don. I'm sorry I'm going to have to cut you off. We are running out of time. My thanks to BC Lions head coach Don Matthews, who spoke with us from Winnipeg, and Toronto head coach Bob Obilovich, who spoke with us from Toronto. We'll have the first half highlights and go back out to Winnipeg Stadium as CFL 84 continue. Welcome back to CFL Control. At the half, Winnipeg is leading the Edmonton Eskimos by a score of 23-7. Winnipeg scores early in the first quarter. Tom Clements still unhappy about the loss last week in BC. He lets go a perfect pass, and you talk about perfection. Look at the route run by Jeff Boyd, 8-0. Still in the first quarter. Little play action here by Clements as we see it slow-mo, and he goes over the middle to James Murphy, 15-0 Winnipeg. Edmonton got a break after an interference call. Matt Dunnigan took it in for the touchdown. Clements scored another for Winnipeg, and at halftime, it is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading the Edmonton Eskimos. There we go, by a score of 23-7. Just a reminder, next Sunday afternoon, we will have the Eastern Final at 1:30 Eastern. The Toronto Argonauts home to the Hamilton Ticats. And, of course, 2 weeks from today, CBC is the place to be for Grey Cup 84 in Edmonton. Our thanks to Don Matthews and Bob Obilovich. The second half kickoff is coming right up.
Neil Lumsden, Neil, I know that things are not good at this moment, and I know that this ball club likes to come back. They've come back a lot of times this year. Is that the feeling right now, that it's not all over?
Well, like I said, Ernie, we've been successful in the past this year and coming back in the second half, and we have to utilize and do what we do well in the second half, and some things that went well for us in the first, we have to take advantage of the second. Tough football team we're playing it. I think we can make a comeback again.
So nobody's really down?
No.
Okay,
not
good
at all.
luck to you. Thanks, Neil. That's it, fellas.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos trail by 16 points as we prepare to start the second half of this football game. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers 30 minutes away from a rematch with the British Columbia Lions. Winnipeg had 247 yards in total offense during that first half. Tom Clements very sharp, hitting on 14 of 19 pass attempts. A favorite target was Joe Poplawski. The Edmonton Eskimos with 106 yards in net offense, most of that offense coming in the late stages of the second quarter.
Well, I think the big difference was that Clements is hot, Reeves is running, and the Winnipeg team took advantage of the wind advantage. And then their defense shut off the Edmonton team when they had the advantage of the wind, and that was the big difference in the first half.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to be going into the wind in the third quarter, so they will have the wind at their backs heading home in the final quarter. Sean Kehoe starts out from the 9-yard line on this kickoff return. And Kehoe is down at the 33. Lawrence Delorier was in there to make the tackle for the Edmonton Eskimos, and there's an injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber.
And it's Winnipeg first and 10 from their own 32.
Brent Brissett being helped off to the sidelines, and it's first and 10. Winnipeg, the ball is at the 32.
Winnipeg will start this half against the wind now. Tommy Clements, I'm sure, is going to keep that ball short with the running attack.
Hand off to Sean Kehoe. He had trouble regaining his balance, but stumbled for a gain of about 8 yards. He was finally pinned by Joe Jenkins. You know, when you look at the Winnipeg ground game this year, almost all of the work was done by Willard Reeves. Sean Kehoe carried a few times. I think 15 in all during the course of regular season play. Reeves for the first down as he drives up to the 47-yard line. And that's the big thing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were able to do in the second quarter going against the wind, is control the ball.
That's what Tom Clements wants to do right now. Watch a little cross action. Watch him just get underneath. Dan Kepley has a shot at him, couldn't hold him. Reeves gets turned upfield, and he gets that momentum going forward. He's awful tough to bring down.
Reeves has been limping since a hit in the second quarter. And he limps again as he moves into position. Pass Incomplete. Jeff Boyd and Rick House were both there. There appeared to be some foul up in the pattern they were running, because I don't think both receivers were supposed to be in that exact area.
No, I think Rick House got bumped coming down the field by the linebacker. He didn't get far enough into the middle, and then that, as a result, it doesn't give the quarterback a good enough read from both sides. He wants to read inside out, and they were both together.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg. The ball is at the 47-yard line. Winnipeg leading 23-7, 13-10. The time remaining in the 3rd quarter. The draw play with Willard Reed. First down. Managed to keep his balance long enough to get out there for a gain of 15. He was stumbling from the time he hit the line of scrimmage.
That was a great selection of players by Tommy Clements. And Reeves had that amazing capacity of just sneaking through that line, almost hiding himself as he goes through there, finding the open spot, coming up with the big first down. And this will be a very, very substantial drive if they can keep this ball against that wind.
Willard also tied another CFL record. He had 10 games this year of 100 yards or more, equaling Willie Burton's mark. Here's the pass to Willard Reed. Brought down by Dan Kempley, but down at the 29-yard line.
You're going to try to play man-to-man defense and have a middle linebacker run with Willard Reeves. When he goes down the field to the outside, you're asking too much out of him. Watch, Dan Kempley's going to try to chase him, but that's just too hard. Willard Reeves has too much speed.
Dan Kempley did a great job just tackling him after he caught the ball, let alone trying to cover him.
Well, that's for sure.
6 foot, 200-pound running back out of northern Arizona. He will be vying with Rufus Crawford for the Shenley Award as the outstanding player. Willard Reeves will score!
Boy, that's that same old draw play, and what an opening that was. I guess Tommy Clements used that offense about as well, Ronnie, as you could possibly use an offense on a drive against the wind.
Boy, he sure did, and this is what does it. Put it in the end zone to culminate the drive, and that's all you can ask out of any football team. They moved it right down the field.
See, on that slippery field, Reeves just made a little move there on Thompson. Went to the post, then back toward the flag, and just ran right away from him. And when you get that Reeves in the open field one-on-one, you can bet that you better tackle him. They missed him on that one.
At 8 Eastern, 8:30 in Newfoundland, it's Backstretch, CBC series about life at a rural Ontario racetrack. That is followed by the award-winning British miniseries about the last days of British rule in India, The Jewel in the Crown.
11:48 is the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. Winnipeg 30, Edmonton 7 as Trevor Kennard kicks off. Into that wind, the ball hangs high, taken by Nelson Jones on the run. And Nelson Jones fights his way out to the 44-yard line. At the start of the telecast, Leo said that Willard Reeves had to run for better than 100 yards this afternoon. As we said earlier, after each touchdown, Willard Reeves presents the football to one of the people in wheelchairs in attendance at the game. And there's a very happy fan receiving the football from Willard Reeves. And he did it 18 times during the course of this 1984 season.
You know, there was a lot of talk during the week about Willard Reeves being disenchanted out here in Winnipeg and wanting to have a change in his contract and threatening not to play. Boy, he dispelled all those rumors the way he's played this first half out here today and is continuing to play in the second half.
Well, I think one of the quotes attributed later in the week was my ex-agent made most of those comments. Willard says he's not at all unhappy with the 3-year contract he signed with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last year. He just wanted a better tax break. Wouldn't we all like a better tax break? Dunnigan over the middle, and Pryor, I should say, comes up with the catch. He'll have a first down. We said earlier that Willard Reeves had been limping. It didn't affect him too much on that touchdown run. He now has 106 yards for the day. But trainer Pat Clayton is working on that left ankle. He's been limping each time he has moved back to the huddle. 1st and 10, Edmonton. The ball is at the 52. Tyrone Jones trying to get it. Dunnigan can't get there. The pass is complete to Marco Sincar for another Edmonton first down with 10:13 remaining in this third quarter.
Well, as far behind as the Edmonton team is right now, the score 30-7, Dunnigan still hasn't lost his poise. He goes back there and takes the time. And as Donnie Lyons, I want to call Donnie Lyons, as Donnie Matthews pointed out, again, I think it was a very substantial point that the defensive line are having a hard time with their traction. As a result, those quarterbacks are getting a lot more time than they normally do to throw the ball.
What you're trying to say is Donnie Matthews of the Lions.
That's it. Well, I got a friend by the name of Donnie Lyons, too.
Brian Kelly makes the catch. He's caught immediately and brought down by Ken Haley.
It just seems like every time around this afternoon that the Winnipeg defense has to get big that they've come up with it.
Not only do they get big, this is a great play. It's that screen pass. They tried it to Woods. This time they try it out to Kelly. But you see the block again. Cowan did not get the block on Haley, and as a result, down he goes. But the thing that's been impressive, the Eskimos have moved the ball pretty well offensively. But Leo said their defense gets big, and when they get big, the offense just doesn't give it back. Winnipeg just takes it and keeps it.
Look at Donegan slipped and trying to get back there to set up. Still has time. The pass complete to Brian Kelly. First down at the 7-yard line.
You know what I never realized is just how strong an arm Dunnigan has. He throws that football pretty hard.
I reminded Dave Cutler about a comment he made last year at Grey Cup time about what a good quarterback Matt Dunnigan was going to be. He said, I made a mistake. He said, I should have said he was going to be a great quarterback. Dunnigan with the fake. There's the pass. Incomplete. Intended for Cowan.
Somebody got a hand on it just at the last moment. Cowan was so wide open on that thing, it just meant getting him the ball. But Delbert Fowler, number 72, just got his hand on the ball.
8:38 is the time remaining here in the third quarter. Winnipeg leading 30-7.
Boy, he had to go up in the air to get that one, but Cowan was behind him with no one on him.
It's second and goal for the Edmonton Eskimos from the Winnipeg 7-yard line. Handoff to Nelson Jones. He is stopped. Jordan fumbles the ball. Who's got it?
I think Winnipeg got the football. No, Edmonton got the ball.
The Edmonton Eskimos managed to come up with that football at the 1-yard line. So it will be third and goal from the 1.
See the ball come loose. Number 59, Leo Blanchard, just knocks that Winnipeg guy out of the way, and then somebody else recovers.
This will be a quarterback sneaker, Neil Lumsden.
Neil Lumsden, touchdown.
Neil Lumsden carrying over for the Edmonton touchdown.
Jackie says, did they get it?
They got it, and the Edmonton Eskimos counter that quick Winnipeg touchdown with one of their own here in the third quarter. So the Eskimos stay alive. The score 30-13 in Winnipeg's favor. Lumsden going over the top, and now Dave Cutler will try the point after. And it's Winnipeg 30 and Edmonton 14. We still have 7:34 remaining here in the third quarter. And we'll return to this Western semifinal at Winnipeg Stadium for the Edmonton kickoff right after this.
Final 1:30 Eastern next Sunday here in CBC. Hamilton won at home today against Montreal. They will play the Argonauts in Toronto. Remember, Hamilton nearly beat Toronto last year in the Eastern Final, beat them in the regular season this year.
All right, Brian, and the Edmonton Eskimos, Dave Cutler kicking off. The ball goes to Sean Keogh starting out from the 5-yard line, and he runs into Laurent Delorier. What a rookie season number 15 is having for the Edmonton Eskimos. Delorier named the all-star safety. He had 9 interceptions this year. Acquired in a trade, along with Frank Balkovec from the BC Lions for James Parker. And the UBC product has developed into an outstanding safety.
Boy, he sure has, and he's good on those special teams. He came down the field that time, really put a hit on Keel.
Winnipeg first and 10. The Blue Bombers at their own 23-yard line. Penalty flags as Clements throws intended for House, incomplete. Quick Tony was covering on the play. Penalty flags in the backfield usually mean holding offensively.
That penalty was thrown awful quickly, though.
Well, there were 2 penalty flags.
Good defense. Quick Tony just gets that big right hand up.
Offside Edmonton and holding against Winnipeg, so it's a loss of 5. First and 15. Clements ducks the charge from Hunter, throws complete to Willard Reeves. Reeves runs into one of his own men, but gets a gain of 13 yards.
Boy, as we have said so often, Tommy Clements, when he's hot, he's hot. He goes back to throw this pass, and there's all kind of pressure on him. Just drops right underneath the defender, then looks up and downfield and hits Reeves, and Reeves just does a great job. Nick Messiah can't get out of his way, though.
Nick says, if I can't block, I'll drag you with me.
He came within 2.5 yards of the first down and second and 2.5.
The draw play was Willard Reeves trying to get that first down. He'll be very close. Stopped by Dan Kepley. Dan Kepley, Shenley Award winner of the past, having problems throughout the course of this 1984 season with injuries. He missed the final game of the season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Ron, as you said before, the only way that the Edmonton team can win this game is to get the ball away from Winnipeg, and Winnipeg just has the capacity to keep the ball moving.
First down, Winnipeg. Throwing for Rick House. He's got it. No, they rule no catch. They rule he didn't have control when he went out of bounds. I thought House had done a pretty good job in keeping his feet in bounds when he made the catch. He was concentrating on that sideline.
Well, they always get a good look at it.
Oh, boy. I don't want to comment on that one. He may have been juggling the ball a little bit, though, when he was going out of bounds.
I think it was a good call. I don't think he did have control. I think he had the ball and it slipped out of his hands and he got it again.
Yeah, I think that must have been it. Anyhow, the referee had a lot better position on it than I did.
This is Willard Reeves on second down, and he fights up close to the 40-yard line, stopped there by Dan Kearns with 5:17 remaining in the third quarter.
Cal Murphy's not going to be happy about that. Edmonton finally stopped that offense and is going to force them to give up the football. Well, that's been the toughest thing the Eskimos have had to do is get the football away from Clements.
Well, Leo made another statement at the start of the ball game that offense would be the key.
I think that the thing that surprised me a little bit was that Tommy went so deep on that pass. He's had so much success with the short pass, with the swings out of the backfield, and with Reeves running. To throw that ball deep, you really don't have to.
Joe Holloman runs into 4 Winnipeg tacklers at the 45-yard line. And that's where the Edmonton Eskimos will be scrimmaging with 4:56 remaining in the third quarter. Well, we've got some tough choices to make this afternoon for our Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive and defensive game stars. And by the way, after the Grey Cup game, Carling O'Keefe Sports will honor the outstanding offensive and defensive players and the outstanding Canadian player in the Grey Cup game. They will be presented with brand new Fords. A Thunderbird, a Cougar, and a Bronco 2 going to the top 3 players in those categories in the Grey Cup game. Donegan going deep. It's intercepted by David Shaw.
Well, we've said a lot of times that David Shaw is one of the better cornerbacks in all the Canadian Football League. And when you put that ball up in the air, he can go to it about as well as anybody can.
He sits back deep, and they tried to get it all in one play. They want to get a quick score while they had the wind in the third quarter, and he just sat back there and waited. Look at that great position. Makes the interception. Then the masked man gets up and runs out of bounds.
It looks like Zorro with that mask on.
Well, there was a penalty flag on the play as well. Let's see what this one is all about. Penalty will be marched off against Winnipeg.
Winnipeg penalized on a major foul, roughing.
Well, the roughing infraction took place after the interception. So Winnipeg retains possession, but they're back at their own 12-yard line. Inside handoff with Willard Reeves, and he gets to the 20-yard line. An 8-yard gain, stopped by Laurent Delorier. David Shaw with one of those neck warmers that he pulls up right over his face.
The masked man.
The masked marble.
On that last play, they just took Reed. They put him out there almost in a slapback position, and then Tommy sprinted out and handed back to him out of reverse. He can find it.
It's Reeves again. Did he get the first down? Stu Hill made the initial contact with him. Reeves this afternoon, 123 yards. After 8 consecutive 100 yards or more rushing games, he was held to 33 yards last week by the BC Lions. Oh, it is so close. John Ireland has to get down and really examine this one. It's third and less than an inch.
Well, before we were a little bit critical of Tommy going for third down in this position on the field, but if you look up at that wind and watch that wind blowing right now, it's pretty smart for him to go for it and try to get it, because even if you punt it, you're still going to give him the ball past the 50-yard line probably.
Clemens will keep, he'll get it. It's almost impossible, I think, to stop a quarterback, one who is proficient at getting down low and in behind that offensive center on that third down sneak.
Sure should be, shouldn't it, Ron?
If that offensive line gets off good and hard, and you just get right on their hip and just follow them, you're going to get that yard easy. I mean, there they only needed an inch, and he gained a couple yards with it. But that offensive line comes off, you just kind of follow them and then fall down. You can't get stopped. The only time you get a problem is if you raise up. Get right behind them, get behind those shoulder pads, and take one step and fall down.
2:48 is the time remaining here in the third quarter. The ball is at the 25. Winnipeg in front by a score of 30-14. Deep for Jeff Boyd.
Watch the throw. Little quick play action, not much, but watch how pretty. And Boyd looks right back over his head, and this is a tough catch for a receiver. He just watches it drop in his arms.
Boy, he's got some good receivers, and Tommy, we've said it a million times this afternoon, when he's hot, he can do no wrong.
47 yards on the pass to Jeff Boyd. It's 1st and 10 Winnipeg at the Edmonton 38.
And remember, they're eating up the clock, and they're going against the wind. In the fourth quarter, they're going to have the wind to their advantage.
Rick House is forced out of bounds, but not before he picked up another Winnipeg first down.
Well, they're going to work on Cliff Tony. They've had Boyd go down and run a deep pattern with him. This time they drive him off, and House breaks to the sidelines. And look at this separation again.
I don't think I've ever seen Tommy throw the ball much better, and it's supposed to be cold, and it's supposed to be adverse out here for a quarterback with cold hands and so on, but he's laying it right on the money.
17 of 24 he has completed for 255 yards. 3 of them have gone to Rick House. Draw play with Willard Reeves, a similar play to the one he scored the touchdown on, and he is stopped by James Hunter with now 1:26 remaining in the third quarter. Well, one of the dangers that many suggested might confront the Winnipeg Blue Bombers was looking beyond this game to a rematch with the BC Lions. But they obviously were prepared to play today.
Offensively, they've just moved the ball at will. Anytime they've wanted to move it, Clements has done it. And when that happens, you can't help but get into the ball game. Now they'll get that shot at those Lions.
Into the end zone for Murphy. Incomplete. Darryl Hall, who led the Eskimos in interceptions this year with 11, have dropped back to cover James Murphy, who has already scored 1 touchdown.
Watch Darryl Hall. Just get that hand up there and just tips it away. Don't cover him any better.
I think Cal Murphy had a notion. He had a hold of one of his offensive players on the 5 yards out on the field. I think he had a notion to do something a little bit different on this than kick, maybe even some kind of a fake field goal or something, but then he shook his head and said, go on out there, so I think they're going to take the 3 points.
43 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Field goal attempt by Trevor Kennard is good. So now the Blue Bombers lead by a score of 33-14. The first time they met on August 3rd at Commonwealth Stadium, the Blue Bombers had to come from behind. They trailed by 10 points and won at 22-21. Here at Winnipeg Stadium on October 21st, the Bombers were winners by a score of 30-11.
They're going to make that Winnipeg team kick off, though. They have to have big plays, and they have to have a lot of them. So they're going to take the chance that maybe Milton Jones or Chris Woods can break this kickoff for a long touchdown. They've got to have big plays. They've got to get things going right now or it's going to be over.
You know what, we're on? This program is copyrighted and strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's true.
You know what that means, Ron, don't you?
I know what it means. Just don't use it or you get in trouble. There's no doubt about it.
So the Blue Bombers will be kicking off from their own 35-yard line. Actually, Trevor Kennard's going to kick off from the 34.
Yeah, it's a little icy right there where they had those bags down.
The ball bounces to Chris Woods. He's trying to get to the outside, and then he runs out of room. Forced out of bounds by Tyrone Jones at the 50-yard line.
Don, they've only got 30 seconds now to have that wind advantage, so they're going to have to come out of there and do something with it in a hurry.
Well, this game will determine an opponent next Sunday afternoon for the British Columbia Lions in the Western Final. We'll be at CNE Stadium in Toronto for the Eastern Final. The Toronto Argonauts entertaining the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That could be a dandy.
You think they'll go for the fences here because they've got to have that wind run? You think they'll throw it deep? Well, they're not. Screen pass.
Screen pass to Neil Lumsden, and Lumsden under a full head of steam bows his way to the 42 of Winnipeg. Stopped there by Tony Norman. 4 seconds remain in this third quarter. Winnipeg 33, Edmonton 14.
Watch Eric Upton, number 57, throw the block right there. Excellent block on Frank Robinson, and then Lumsden comes in, and Upton gets up and gets another one. I'll tell you one thing, they haven't given up, and that's good.
Well, that was a good job by Upton.
Rest assured, this Edmonton team has a lot of character. They won't be giving up regardless of the score. Neil Lumsden again. This time he is brought down by Delbert Fowler, and as he goes out of bounds, he loses control of the football, but that is also the end of the third quarter with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 15 minutes away from a berth in the 1984 Western Championship game. Eskimo fullback Neil Lumsden injured on that final play of the third quarter. Ernie Afaganis, it appears as though the wind is picking up down to field level.
Don, I pointed out earlier when you asked me about the wind, it was going more north to south. And I said at that time it was beginning to change. Well, it has. Now it's going more towards the east side of the stadium. So the real disadvantage the Eskimos may have had has diminished a little bit. It won't be as bad as they expected.
Second down, Edmonton, the draw play with Larry Cowan. He'll get the first down. Cowan to the 30-yard line. Well, we talked about the Eastern and Western Championship games taking place on Sunday. On Saturday, the Junior Championship of Canada will be decided in Kelowna. And in that championship game, the Richmond Raiders and the Ottawa Sooners. Folks in Kelowna have done quite a job in getting things ready for a big week to celebrate the Junior Football Championship of Canada for 84. Dunigan loses the football. Winnipeg has got it. Tyrone Jones.
Well, that was a real shame because I was just about ready to say that Dunigan is a kid that when he has the football, anything can happen and they can score. And he slipped coming out of there, and when he slipped, the ball came out of his hand. And you see what happens here. Just a great play by Kelly there, stopped him from going all the way.
Boy, you like to have linebackers with the speed of a Tyrone Jones, don't you?
Boy, he just split the seam in the secondary. He was moving.
He looked like a ball carrier.
He was for 43 yards. First and 10, Winnipeg. The ball is at the 30. Draw play with Willard Reeves. Reeves is straightened up after a pickup of one by Laurent Delorier. We mentioned a couple of times that Willard Reeves is the Western nominee for the Shenley Award as the country's outstanding player. They also have Shenley Awards at the junior level. Andy McAvoy of the Ottawa Sooners and Mike Van Giel of the Richmond Raiders are the candidates for the Outstanding Offensive Award. For the Defensive Award, Dan Rehill, a linebacker from Edmonton, and Jeff Sanford of the Renfrew Trojans are the candidates. They'll be honored on November 9th in Kelowna. Willard Reeves still on his feet. Finally dropped down inside the 20.
Well, that's been working for them all afternoon. And again, it's a situation where you get the ball out to Willard Reeves and try to get him one-on-one on the linebacker that has to recover back up out of that zone coverage. They back off that line, you swing the ball out to him, and then you make them tackle him in the open field. And boy, that's a tough job.
Pat Kantner comes in with a play from the bench as Sean Kehoe goes to the sidelines. 33-14, Winnipeg leads. First and 10, Blue Bombers. They are at the 18 of Edmonton with 12:28 remaining in the ball game. Clements trying to throw that pass for Rick House at the 10-yard line. It's incomplete.
Winnipeg second and 10 from the Edmonton 18-yard line.
Shuffling continues as Kehoe returns to the field. Kantner goes to the bench. Second and 10, Winnipeg at the 18.
Swing that Willard out again. He'll catch it.
Clements now 18 for 27 in the passing department. And Leo, he heard you. Bounced out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
So that's a tough pattern. If you come up to cover Reeves on this swing, you're going to open a real big seam in the hole. So they have to stay back and then react. But I'll tell you what, when Reeves catches the football, I think he just believes nobody can stop him.
Well, I think they believe that too, and I think Dan Bass and Kepley both believe that too after trying to tackle him in the open field all afternoon. And I think Murphy just says, just like any old quarterback would say, stick with what's working, and that's been working for them all afternoon.
Well, Willard Reeves has over 200 yards this afternoon as a runner and as a pass receiver. And he'll get another touchdown. He fumbles the ball, but he was in the end zone. He had crossed the goal line. And Willard Reeves has his second touchdown of the day. Gentlemen, this ball game's over.
Now the shadows are lengthening and the day grows dark. Things don't look good for the Edmonton Eskimos.
As we said earlier, this is when it gets cold on the sidelines. Watch Willard Reeves again. There's no doubt he's going in.
That's what's called propel.
Trevor Kennard attempting to add the 40th Blue Bomber point, and he does. 11:36 is the time remaining in the game, as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be kicking off again for the Edmonton Eskimos.
The guys who wear this sweater hate me. That's what involvement does for you. How about you getting involved with Big Brothers? Thousands of youngsters need a positive male influence in their lives, and there just aren't enough Big Brothers. So get involved. Win a boy's respect by being his friend. Call Big Brothers today. Tell them the Eagle sent you. They may not like me, but they'll be happy to hear from you.
Some people think the IBM PC Junior runs only about this much software. The truth is, PC Junior runs over 1,000 of the best, most up-to-date programs, including powerful new cartridge programs like Lotus 123. And with PC Junior's new memory expansion attachment, it can run well over 1,000 more programs. PC Junior from IBM, the computer that's growing by leaps and bounds.
The Grey Cup is fast approaching, and as usual, CBC the place to be. The Shenleys Thursday the 15th, the Grey Cup Parade Saturday the 17th, and then Sunday the 18th, the highly acclaimed thrill of it all and the game itself. See it on CBC.
Trevor Kennard preparing to kick off. Nelson Jones takes it at the 20-yard line. Vernon Paul had just come hurtling in there, trying to break up the blocking on the return of Nelson Jones. He just took off from about 5 yards out.
That's what you call a wedge buster.
Boy, that is great coverage. I'll tell you what, you got to have guys to do that on those special teams. But I'm going to tell you something, it's hard to get them. But when things are going good, that's what you get.
Ernie, you've got an injury update.
I was just going to mention Neil Lumsden's injury report because you talked about him earlier. He was badly banged up and bruised on some ice, but apparently he's okay.
Marco Sinkar takes the pass, and he goes out of bounds.
Well, this Dunnigan's going to be a great kid for the future as far as the CFL is concerned, though. Every time Edmonton has the ball, you just have the feeling, and you don't have that with a lot of young quarterbacks, that he's going to do something substantial. He's going to move the football team, but he looks like he can do it, Ron.
For his first playoff game, he's played pretty well. It's just that the Bombers have played better, that's all.
And a couple bad things happened to him.
1st and 10, the ball is at the 49. Pass complete to Sinkar again. He goes out of bounds in front of that Winnipeg Blue Bomber bench. Driven out by Wiley Turner. Credit Sinkar with a gain of 8. As the Eskimos send out their short yardage offense. 2nd and 2.
A guy that deserves a lot of credit. I've been watching this afternoon is Doug McIver. He came off of an injury that they said that there was no way he could come back and play this year, and he's been in there and doing a pretty good job all afternoon.
He's been playing that nose guard position his first game back since being sidelined on the 26th of August. 1st down for the Edmonton Eskimos, and Neil Lumsden drives inside the Winnipeg 50. 10:23 the time left here at Winnipeg Stadium. Winnipeg leading 40-14. Donegan's in trouble. Aaron Brown and Delbert Fowler got back to drop the Edmonton quarterback for a loss of 13 yards.
Just good coverage downfield. Dunnigan sprints right. He got a lot of time to throw, but he's going to get an inside rush by one-on-one. He tries to go outside, and look who's waiting on him. Aaron Brown. Fowler and Brown got you inside, outside. You don't have many places to hide.
Penalty flag on the play. Donegan in trouble again. Gets the pass away to tag Rome, and he is stopped at the 47-yard line by Ken Haley.
They call that number 27, Sinkar. He started a little prematurely, and he got in that area between the wide receiver in the line of scrimmage, which makes it an illegal play. I guess he put somebody offsides, but that was what the penalty was all about. See if I'm right.
Procedure, Edmonton number 27, second down repeated.
Right again, Leo.
Second and 27, ball at the Edmonton 43.
Second and 27 for the Eskimos, back at their own 43. Dunnigan is caught by Reset.
Boy, Reset just beat him one-on-one into the offensive backfield, grabs him and throws him down.
So now Johnny Evans comes out in a punting situation with 9 minutes remaining, standing back at his own 26-yard line.
See what the wind does to this punt.
Pretty good kick by Evans. It's more of a crosswind now, as Ernie Afghan has pointed out. Kevin Nevis on the return. He's got good speed.
Looky out. Look out here.
Finally stopped at the 32-yard line. Winnipeg with great field position again.
Every time you fill up at your neighborhood Petro-Canada station, you're pumping your money back into Canadian jobs, back into new opportunities for Canadian industry and technology, back into the ongoing search for Canadian energy. And to every Canadian who thinks that all gasoline stations are the same, Petro-Canada offers an alternative. Pump your money back into Canada. It goes a long way. Petro-Canada, putting Canada first.
Oh, we know what, we know how. We know we're born and we're born it now. So only the best will do. And the best is that Pepsi taste that keeps coming through. Come on, Pepsi now. You want the best taste. Come on and taste that best taste. Come on and make yours Pepsi now. Yeah.
Kevin Nevis, the rookie out of the University of Manitoba, with a 51-yard punt return, giving Winnipeg field position, first and 10 at the Edmonton 32.
Well, showed great speed, but we know he has that. See who the first guy out to congratulate him was? Willard Reeves.
No, with the score what it is right now in the game, as far along as it is, I would think that they'd be getting Huffnagel ready and letting him get his feet wet in their runs.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Clements to James Murphy. And Murphy is hauled down by Daley Thompson. Well, that sign, a reference to the sign that some of the fans sported at BC Place last week, referring to the Manitoba Capital as loser peg after the BC Lions destroyed Winnipeg 20-3. Willard Reeves, no, Sean Kehoe over on the far side of the field. And he is out of bounds in the vicinity of the 11 or 12-yard line. There's also a penalty flag over on the opposite side of the field. James Murphy is minus his helmet. Now, I don't know whether he got decked over there. Maybe our isolated director, Brent Haywood, picked it up.
Well, we'll see what happens. Dale Thompson.
Well, if I was Murphy, I'd get out there and scoop up and get that helmet on. That's not fair. One guy's got a helmet on, the other guy hasn't.
like they're going to throw them both out of the game.
We have a disqualification. Winnipeg number 21. Disqualification. Edmonton number 7. Second down.
So the two players, Thompson and Murphy, are tossed out of the ball game. Now James Murphy this afternoon with 1 touchdown reception.
He just wanted to get the hot water in the showers.
He wanted to get there first on a cold afternoon. Joe Holloman was the injured player. Joe Holloman, you see him on the sideline seeming to twist his ankle as he came down over the top of Sean Kehoe, who was on the receiving end of that pass. So they'll have 2 changes in the defensive backfield. One necessitated by injury, the other is the result of disqualification. And the Eskimos will have to do some scrambling over at that bench to get their people on the field. Marco Sinkar, I believe, is going to come out and take 1 spot.
Brian Pryor.
Brian Pryor. You're right.
Treflin's in. He was the only one they had left to put in as a backup, and that means that Pryor has to come in just to fill it for 1 play.
And Tommy's going to look out there and say, who have they got back there? He's going to pick out the guy that he thinks is the most vulnerable.
He's voting now in the huddle. There's 2 rookies.
The man with his back to the camera, Jerome Erdman, is the replacement for James Murphy.
The last time we saw Pryor on defense, he was 45 yards deep. If he goes that far this time, he'll be on the practice field.
7:22 is the time left to play. It's Winnipeg's 2nd and 2. Winnipeg leads 40-14.
A great place for play action. Double draw.
Willard Reeves. Danny Bass stopped him at the 10-yard line, but it's a first down, Winnipeg. Ernie, another injury update.
Joe Holloman apparently will be back. He has been banged up, as you pointed out just a little bit earlier. Ankle's giving him some problem. Was earlier, too, but he's okay.
Yes, Joe Holloman is back on the field. He's trying to control James Hunter, who was upset about something that took place on that run by Willard Reeves. It's a first down, Winnipeg, from just inside the 10-yard line. Feelings running very hot in the cool afternoon at Winnipeg Stadium. Clemens, touchdown, Rick House.
Well, I'll tell you, Cliff Tony's got to have a bad nightmare of this ball game. They've just been going after him. Look again how wide open Rick House is. It's been one of those days. You cut those Blue Bombers on a hot day, and they are awful tough to stop.
Just don't get Tommy Clements angry, that's all.
Clements has completed 22 of 31 for 311 yards. The point after by Trevor Kennard, and Winnipeg now leads 47-14, and Winnipeg will be kicking off with 6:33 remaining in the 4th quarter.
To my friends, a thank you song for being kind to me. To my friends, a thank you song for being kind to me.
This was for all of those who ever wonder if your United Way gift is really appreciated.
Canada, get deals by the truckload. Your Ford and Mercury drive-away celebration is on now. Our dealers are driving for your best deals and trucking them direct from the factory to you. Get a tough-to-beat deal on new 85 Ranger and F-Series Explorer trucks, up to $1,500 off. Get Tough Ranger, the best-selling compact truck in Canada. Drive-away celebration means great deals, great quality, and great selection on 85s and 84s, too.
We can't be outdone at Ford. Quality is job one.
The Eastern Final, 1:30 Eastern next Sunday here in CBC. Hamilton won at home today against Montreal. They will play the Argonauts in Toronto. Remember, Hamilton nearly beat Toronto last year in the Eastern Final, beat them in the regular season this year.
Trevor Kennard preparing to kick off. Nelson Jones starts out from the 11-yard line. He keeps on fighting, and Trevor Kennard unable to bring him down. Finally, he's tackled, but not before he got to the Winnipeg 42-yard line.
Well, that's a great run.
Well, that was one of the finest runs of the season. He was tackled about 5 different times and just kept running right out of people's arms.
A 56-yard run back by Milson Jones. And that's our vantage point in the press box at Winnipeg Stadium, as quite a few of this crowd of 27,830, I believe they announced, begin to wend their way to the exits. Not that they're disappointed in what they're watching, but they want to get warm. An injured Winnipeg player, and I believe it's Vernon Paul. We remarked earlier about how Vernon Paul just throws himself into that blocking that the Eskimos have attempted to set up on those kickoff returns.
Well, we'll see Vernon Paul coming down. Looks like he's someplace else right now.
He is dazed. There's no question about that.
Watch him hit Tom Towns right here, head on, and he just drops. Well, I'll tell you one thing, he does go down the field.
He throws himself into it as though there's somebody else wearing his uniform.
Boy,
John Huffnagel warming up on the sidelines. A little bit overdue.
You know, Leo, in your pregame assessment, you said that if Willard Reeves and Tom Clements played well, it would be almost impossible for the Eskimos to stop them. Those two have certainly been outstanding today. The Winnipeg defensive unit has also played well, but the key has been the performance of the offense.
And I think the big thing, Don, is that the offense did such a good job of keeping the ball away from Edmonton, plus the fact that they did such a good job of working against the wind when they had to.
1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Matt Dunnigan is caught and dropped. No, he got away. He got the pass away to Tag Rome. It looked as though he was going to be dropped by Delbert Fowler.
He just escaped in time. Tag Rome was staying in the block for him. He definitely was the intended receiver. That was just one of those you or me jobs, and he just dropped it off to him so he wouldn't take the loss. He still lost 5.
You know, another comment you made early in the ball game, Leo, is that Tom Clements has never had 2 bad games in a row, or at least hasn't had 2 bad games in succession this season. The Blue Bombers had not lost 2 games in succession this season, and usually after every loss, they rebounded to destroy their opponent in their next game, and that's what they've done today.
That's a pretty good indication for a football team.
Dunnigan going deep for Kelly. He's got it.
What a catch.
Well, they don't quit, do they? And that's
tremendous concentration by Brian Kelly, who established the league record this year with 18 touchdown receptions in behind Donovan Rhodes.
And what a way for this guy to end the season, and this will be ending his season, this ball game today, but he's had such a tremendous year, catching, what, 18 touchdown passes? There's number 19. It's in the playoff game, but that's a lot of touchdown passes.
5:12 is the time remaining. Winnipeg 47, Edmonton 20. The Eskimos with the 2-point conversion try. Incomplete. Knocked away by Ken Haley. It was intended for Tag Rome. Brian Kelly has been the favorite target of Matt Dunnigan this afternoon. During the course of the year, he averaged a touchdown once every 3.6 receptions.
Well, this is as fine a catch as you'll see anywhere by anybody. He just went and got it.
Use his body.
Great body.
He got position and he just worked right up into the defender. He got higher than he did, took the ball away from him. Now that takes a lot of experience to do something like that because he's playing against a good, experienced defensive back.
I think he may have banged up his knee. He came down pretty hard on that knee, landing on that frozen turf.
Well, he's going to have time to rest it now. This is it for the Edmonton Eskimos.
5:12 the time remaining. The Edmonton Eskimos trailing by 27 points.
Don, before the game is over, I think we ought to point out the fact that Edmonton really has done a tremendous job this year with a football team that was entirely reconstructed. Jackie Parker, a guy that a lot of people thought shouldn't have got the head coaching job again this year, probably will end up being the coach of the year, and they've got a lot of good things to look forward to in Edmonton.
18 new faces on the Edmonton roster in this 1984 season. The short kickoff attempt, and it is picked up by Joe Poplawski. And Winnipeg will scrimmage 1st and 10 from the 53-yard line. What was it somebody said about the Edmonton Eskimos? They're not rebuilding, they're just reloading.
Well, I can't believe they're sending Tommy Clements back in the ball. I thought I saw Huffnagel warming up over there.
You did. Huffnagel was warming up, but Clements is going to continue directing that Winnipeg attack. Clements for Jeff Boyd. He may score.
He's going to score. Boy, he caught him against the grain.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When Tom Clements threw that football, I wasn't sure where he was throwing it because Boyd hadn't even started to turn around, and when he turned around, the ball arrived. That's just perfect timing.
You see him come right back to it, and when he caught the ball, he caught the defense going one way in the secondary, and he just made the move. You see him come right back to the football. Now the defense is going the other way, and watch him. He catches the ball going against the grain and just outruns him. And he goes right to that corner for that flag, and they're not going to catch him.
The point after by Trevor Kennard. And it's now a 54-20 game. There was a penalty flag on the convert. Illegal substitution by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So drop a point off the scoreboard. It's 53-20.
Watch how early he throws his football.
Well, that was a good job by John Bonka going in there and blocking that three-man coming in there. And Boyd just takes the ball. Look at him outrun everybody around right to the corner.
Yeah, he did have some speed, doesn't he?
So at 53-20, the Bombers will try again. The second touchdown of the day for Jeff Boyd.
Boy, the sign of a true champion is the guy that can come through in the clinches with the pressure on. And Tommy Clements coming through this afternoon in this ball game. It's a must game. It's all over if they don't come through. And he doesn't only come through. I'm not too sure that this is not the best game of his entire season.
Well, the score now goes to 54-20 with Trevor Kennard adding the extra point following the illegal substitution penalty. .442 is the time remaining. We're going to have a tough time this afternoon picking a Carling O'Keefe offensive game star. What a job Willard Reeves has done, both running and catching passes. Tom Clements throwing the ball. Jeff Boyd as a receiver. Cal Murphy is still upset with something, and finally John Ireland, the referee, comes over to
Cal,
say something to him, but there are no penalty flags.
Take a look at the scoreboard, Cal. Forget about it. Give it a pass.
Well, Ernie Afaganis is down on the sidelines trying to find out what's going on. And Ernie, what was going on there?
Don, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to ask some questions here. All I heard was an awful lot of arguing, some bitter arguing, as a matter of fact, but I'll find out.
Well, Jeff Boyd, who scored that touchdown, got in there to drop Chris Woods back at the 20-yard line. Jeff Boyd not content this afternoon just to score touchdowns. He's on those special teams and made a big tackle.
Edmonton first and 10 from their own 22.
Maybe Cal settled down a little bit now. He's talking to Clements.
Donegan has the pass picked off by Aaron Brown. And Delbert Fowler was pressuring Matt Donegan and forced him to throw that ball when he really didn't want to. And Aaron Brown was there for the interception.
Well, it's at the point right now where, you know, you hate to see Edmonton be scored upon again because they've played as hard as they could play this afternoon. They've had a lot of bad things happen to them. And, you know, you'd just like to see it kind of go away right now instead of make it 60 or something like this because it was a better football game than that score will indicate.
It's going to be a long afternoon on the sidelines on a day like today, and it has been for Jackie Parker and those guys. As we said going in, they didn't have any pressure on them. No one expected them to be here, and it's been a great season for them.
Hufnagel now in at quarterback. Into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Almost picked off by Delorier. Well, I believe now Ernie has sorted out what the problem was on the sidelines. Ernie?
Don, not that it matters with the score what it is, but apparently Cal Murphy was very upset because Vernon Paul tried to get on the field, then come back off, and then he was told to go on the field, and the officials shoved him back off the playing surface, and Cal said he should have been allowed to get on. So, nothing serious, really.
Well, Cal Murphy thought it was rather serious. Cal really gets involved in the ball game on those sidelines. There has been some criticism that he gets too involved. Rick House, the intended receiver, and it will be 3rd and 10 Winnipeg.
Don, I could ask you another question here about Cal Murphy. Even with a big lead here, he wants everything right. He wants the rules to be enacted properly. He doesn't care what the score is, I guess, just as long as he's on top and everything's going right for him.
I think everybody kind of gets the impression, too, that Winnipeg may be trying to run up the score because total points don't mean anything right now in a playoff game. And why would they be throwing the ball? It's just as simple that John Hufnagel hasn't been in there all afternoon. He needs the work. He needs the timing. He needs to throw the ball and get used to the receivers for the next game. Who knows when Tom Clements might get hurt. So he's got to do that. So it isn't a matter of trying to run up the score against Edmonton, that's for sure.
The field goal attempt by Trevor Kennard is wide, and it's now Winnipeg 55 and Edmonton 20.
You know, during the week, Ron, we read in the paper where Marty York said that I tried to embarrass you on television. I think you and Whit one-up me more this year than anything else. Has Marty York ever been right in anything he's ever said with the Globe and Mail?
Only when he writes about you.
Now, there you go, Marty. Now, how do you like that?
Oh, heck.
Well, you're still upset because Ron wouldn't invite you over for coffee the morning we did the game in Hamilton.
Right.
I don't like to go there and put the quarter in the machine.
Donegan is picked. Oh, David Shaw thought he had a touchdown. He could see that end zone beckoning as he stepped in front of the pass intended for Marco Sinkar. And it will be 2nd and 10 Edmonton with 2:56 remaining.
Ten years of lottery revenue has made Western Canada a better place to be. The limited edition anniversary gala draw, December 9th. Millions in prizes. Group tickets, $25. Share.
Now, wait a minute, Phil. Did I know everything when I bought my computer?
No.
But I knew one thing. To go to the right place for support, service, selection, and a group of professionals who really wanted to help. Exactly. They've got more kinds of people, buy more kinds of computers than any other store in the world.
Terrific. When can we go there?
Right now.
Welcome to Computerland. May I help you?
Computerland, there's only one number one.
Well, Joe Holloman, number 29, sitting at that Edmonton bench, has had a distinguished career since joining the Eskimos. He played at Arkansas State. Penalty flags on the play. Dunnigan gets the pass away to Chris Skinner. And he's brought down at the 43-yard line, but there was a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. Some people are suggesting that perhaps this might be Joe Holloman's last season. He's been one of the outstanding cornerbacks in the league over the years. Procedure, the call against Edmonton.
Well, Joe's got his share of Grey Cup rings. Those Edmonton players, the veterans that are left on that football team.
Procedure, Edmonton number 63, second down repeated.
They have certainly had their day in the sun. Joe Holloman's one of them. What's he wearing, 5 Grey Cup rings? That's not bad.
Second and 15 with the procedure call against tackle Hector Poitier. 2:44 remaining in the game. Delbert Fowler again getting through to drop Matt Dunnigan. Fowler has played a strong game at his outside linebacking position. Started early. One of his assignments today was to contain Dunnigan, prevent him from getting outside, from scrambling. And you may recall one play that Ron pointed out on our video writer earlier in the game where he got outside and simply stood his ground and then made the play.
And that one where he jumped up in the air at the last moment and took that ball away when Cowan was wide open for that touchdown pass was a great play too.
Johnny Evans punting on third down. Taken by Kevin Nealis at the 45. He has one 51-yard punt return this afternoon. He's forced out of bounds at the 46. So with 2:20 remaining in the game, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be scrimmaging 1st and 10 from their own 46. And next Sunday afternoon, under the dome of the stadium at BC Place, it will be a replay of last year's Western Championship, the Blue Bombers and the British Columbia Lions. Back on July 16th here at Winnipeg Stadium, the Bombers beat BC 25-3 last Saturday night. At the stadium, the Lions were winners in the showdown for first place by a score of 20-3.
Well, that didn't look good to me. Kehoe looked like he hurt his knee on that play when he got twisted around. He's going to limp back in there, but that's the thing. It's when the score is this much at this stage of the ball game and things are pretty well over, sometimes players get a little bit loose and a little bit careless. They can't afford to have any injuries going into those finals.
The Blue Bombers have substituted rather freely here in the final few minutes of this fourth quarter. One of the substitutions necessitated by the ejection of James Murphy. Inside handoff with Pat Cantner, and Cantner is stopped after a pickup of about 3 yards. So the Blue Bombers send out their punting unit. 1:53 is the time remaining. Winnipeg 55-20 ahead of the Edmonton Eskimos. You get an indication of how Winnipeg has dominated this ball game. Bob Cameron has only been called upon to punt 3 times, and I believe this is the first time he's kicked with the win.
Yeah, I think everybody thought before the game that his kicking might be a factor, but when that offense is clicking on all the cylinders like it was today, you don't need that kicker, and that's always good to see for a coach. I know Cal Murphy has to be pleased.
Jeff Treplin goes all the way back to the 5-yard line and runs it back to the 20. So a 15-yard return after a 57-yard kick by Bob Cameron. And with 1:23 remaining, the Eskimos will be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
How about that little gap? You lean left, I'll lean right, and then we'll plug. Just in case anyone thought he forgot how to punt, Cameron did get off another one.
And if you're wondering why there's 3 guys to one side and only 1 guy to the other side in that seam there, it's because they all shifted the overload side of the defense. The side that the defense has got stacked to come on the rush, that's the side that the 3 men will block to.
Milson Jones fights his way to the 26-yard line, and he's stopped by Frank Robinson. Scott Flagel came up and took the ball away from him after the play had been whistled down. They were former teammates. Vernon Paul, number 74, minus his helmet. He took quite a shot earlier in this 4th quarter in going down to break up the blocking on a kickoff return, but he appears to be all right. He's a 6'2", 225-pounder out of the University of Prince Edward Island. Milson Jones, the ball carrier, to the 38-yard line for a first down with 55 seconds remaining. Stopped by Tyrone Jones.
Boy, a lot of this stand stayed right up until the last 55 seconds. They're starting to vacate now, but they've enjoyed this game this afternoon. There's been a lot of aspersions cast on the Winnipeg team in this last week because they weren't supposed to be coming through when the chips were down. But they, what are you looking at me for? That word?
A lot of what?
Penalty flags as the pass is complete.
Excuse me, Don. I was going to say they came through when they had to, and they certainly have come through in fine shape this afternoon.
Brian Pryor made the catch, but holding will bring it back.
And it's tough getting through those aspersions.
Joe Galat made, I think, one of the great statements about his offensive line. He said, our offensive line is so tough that our backs have a tough time getting through them. Well, they did this afternoon over there in that rain in Hamilton.
Well,
holding.
Turnovers certainly.
Edmonton number 59, first down repeated.
Turnovers certainly hurt the Montreal Concord this afternoon in that Eastern semifinal against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So it will be an identical setup to a year ago. Hamilton and Toronto in the Eastern final. Winnipeg and British Columbia in the West.
As the old movie says, that sets the stage for the final conflict. It's going to be a tough game.
Of course, that final conflict takes place 2 weeks from today. Grey Cup Sunday, November the 18th in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium. If you can't make it to Edmonton to be part of Grey Cup week, we hope you'll be joining us on CBC television for all of the excitement, beginning with the Shenley Awards coverage, live coverage on Thursday night, the Grey Cup Parade on Saturday afternoon, our 90-minute pregame show, the thrill of it all, on Sunday, followed by the game itself. We hope you'll be joining us for the best in sports coverage on CBC television. Skinner running it to the 40-yard line. He was upset by Frank Robinson with 10 seconds remaining. This is the point of the ball game where you want that clock to run as quickly as possible and get to the dressing room. And this will be the final play.
Cal Murphy's got to be a happy man on the sidelines. Jackie Parker on the other side of the field has nothing to be ashamed of. He's had a great year.
Well, there are spectators all over the playing field, and that's the ball game. 55-20. The Blue Bombers destroy the Edmonton Eskimos in the Western semifinal here at Winnipeg Stadium. Very early, Tom Clements gave us an indication of the type of day it was going to be as he looked very sharp the first 4 times he threw the ball, and he continued for the rest of the day.
Boy, he sure did. You can't say enough about him. I thought coming in that, you know, that the Eskimos might have a chance if they could control them, get something going offensively, but Clements wouldn't give him the football to play with. And not only did he not give it to him, when he had it, he ended up putting points on the board.
Winnipeg 55, the Edmonton Eskimos 20. The Blue Bombers now move on to face the British Columbia Lions next Sunday in the Western Championship. We'll be back with our Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars after this.
When you mail a UNICEF greeting card, it goes to 2 different people, your Aunt Lucy and to a child in another country who needs help. healthcare, nutritious food, education. It's as if I split the card in two, and each person receives half. UNICEF greeting cards have two destinations. Oh, I know Aunt Lucy well. I'm sure she'll understand.
Hey, Canada, your Ford and Mercury drive-away celebration is on now. Our dealers are fighting for the best factory deals on new Escort and Lynx, Tempo and Topaz, and delivering them to you. Automatic transmission at no extra cost on 85 Escort and Lynx, and also on Canada's best-selling new nameplates, Tempo and Topaz. All with Ford's new 5-year DuraGuard warranty. Drive-away celebration means best deals, best quality, and selection on 85s and 84s, too.
We can't be outdone at Ford Quality. The job one.
This season, if you're not already hooked on the Beachcombers,
we'll give you all the help we can.
It's an explosive new season, and there's nothing like your old favorites.
No, there sure isn't, Constable John.
The Beachcombers, tonight on CBC Television.
Doc Roberts has booked line 3 in quarantine.
Swamp fever hits the track, and it looks like the worst for Bright Morning.
Test on Bright Morning's positive.
Backstretch, tonight. Now, let's meet the outstanding players in today's game and winners of the portable Citizen TVs. The Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars.
Okay, here we go. Hey!
What's going on down there? Hey, Ernie, why don't you get him out of there?
Well, obviously, down at field level, Ernie Afghani's having some problems with the crowd that are surrounding our Carling O'Keefe Game Stars, and it doesn't appear as though we're going to get an opportunity to chat with either Tom Clements, who was our offensive game star. We had a tough choice in making that offensive selection, Tom Clements or Willard Reeves.
No question, Don. I think that Willard Reeves had one of his better days this afternoon, too. He did everything but pump up the ball, but the guy that had to come through big, first of all, was Tom Clements. And, you know, if your quarterback's not going, you're not going to win the football game. And Tommy wasn't only going, he was going about as good as he's ever gone all year long. And what I said before the football game certainly held true, and that's don't make Tommy Clements mad, because he hasn't had 2 bad games in a row.
Look at this.
We'll see. There goes Reeves off the field. If I was Cal Murphy, I'd be out there and capturing him right now and not allowing those fans to take him out there. You never can tell what will happen in a situation like that.
Well, Willard Reeves, certainly one of the most popular individuals to ever play football in Winnipeg, and each game and each time he scores a touchdown here at home, he presents the football to one of the less fortunate, those in a wheelchair in the special section here. Rather interesting story about how he started doing that. He was telling me that when he was a youngster going to school, he had a hearing problem. As a result, he was set back in school, and he was back with the slow learners, and he realized then how important these people were and how much he wanted to contribute and help them. And as a result, when he became a professional, he started giving the footballs away here at Winnipeg Stadium. And he said, the first time I did it, the girls started to cry, and he said, now I go over there, and he said, they're all there waiting for that football after I score.
I think he gets more good out of it than they do, Ron.
Oh, you know he feels good about it just watching him do it. It's, you know, he's just a great human being, but I'll tell you one thing, he knows how to run with a football, too.
Well, he ran for better than 100 yards this afternoon. He had over 80 yards as a pass receiver. And Delbert Fowler on the defensive side of the football played very well.
He sure did. I can point out about 4 or 5 significant plays that he made this afternoon. One that stands out in my mind was when Cowan came out of the backfield and was wide open, would have scored the touchdown, and Fowler had just dropped off about 3 yards and just went up in the air just like a basketball player and made the tick at the last minute to knock the ball out of his hands. And not only that, but he was penetrating all afternoon and getting the quarterback and putting the heat on the quarterback. I think he forced a couple interceptions too, Ron.
Well, the Winnipeg defense has been tough all year. They led the league in interceptions with 35, and you're only going to lead a league when you're getting pressure on the quarterback. But, you know, one thing I'd like to say is I'm really happy for Jackie Parker and the Edmonton Eskimos. What a year they've had. I don't, as we've said many times, nobody expected it from them. They've done a tremendous job up there. Matt Dunnigan, he played well today. It's hard to believe that he could play well and get beat as bad as they did, but it was just a Bombers' day.
It was a lot closer than that score indicated. And as far as Edmonton's concerned, or Winnipeg is concerned, They weren't trying to run it up in the last part of that game when Huffnagel was throwing the ball. It just meant that he had to get in there and get the field for the game, too, for next week, or for the week after.
The pressure was certainly all on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because everyone expected them to win this afternoon. The Edmonton Eskimos came in here. They really have nothing to lose. It's still been a very successful season for Edmonton.
But it's all that they could ask. It's just been that type of year. Talking to the media people from the Eskimos yesterday and last night, they're very, very pleased with it. The people in Edmonton, they've been good fans over the year. You know they're going to do a good job with the Grey Cup, and they've got to be awful proud of this football team.
Well, go ahead. I want to say one more thing. I think we ought to say something nice about Cal Murphy and his group, too, because they did a sensational job and came back after they had a lot of pressure losing that game out there at BC, came back and had a big win today.
Indeed they did, and as we said, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars, offensively Tom Clements, defensively Delbert Fowler. Because of the mob down in the field, we were unable to get any comments from the two selections in this game, but they will both be receiving the Citizen Awards. They'll be receiving a television courtesy of Citizen. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers move against the British Columbia Lions in the Western Final. It's Hamilton and Toronto in the East, and we'll be at CNE Stadium next Sunday afternoon. That could be a good ball game. Hamilton now 4 wins in a row, including a 25-20 win a week ago over Toronto.
And it's always a tough game when those teams play. Never mind playoffs, just regular season games. And for this one, after the reflection on what happened last year, it's going to be a big game.
Well, I know that the 4 best teams are going to play. They're going to hit head-on next week. That's all you can ask in a football season. Anything happens then, but let's tee it up and let's play.
Well, of course, Winnipeg and British Columbia. Winnipeg won the first game 25-3, BC the second 20-3. So that indicates just how close those two teams are.
I don't know what they're going to do about that crowd out there, but the best way to quiet the crowd out there for Winnipeg is to take that ball moving like they did this afternoon.
Well, if they can have the same success, they will, of course, quiet that crowd, but that BC defensive unit is going to be very, very tough. So it's Winnipeg and BC in the West, Hamilton and Toronto in the Eastern Final. The executive producer of football on CBC television is Bob Moyer. Today's game was produced by Hugh Carruthers. And our directors, Ron Harrison and Larry Brown. Today's game, our isolation director, Brant Haywood. And the other members of our CBC production and technical crew who help make our coverage of CFL football.